I like that, boy.
Nice.
Welcome,
Is Mr.
everybody. I am Mr. X. I am guest hosting tonight's episode of Things Are Getting Sketchy, the Muppets 80's and 90's, whatever goes mashup. We have some amazing artists with us tonight. We have Hugh, we have Camillo, we have KC returning,
Camillo,
and we
baby.
have Mike as always. Well, not as always, but Mike's always here pretty often. Throughout the night, if anybody wants to guess what my identity is, you can throw it in the comments and maybe I will reveal it, but I'm sure nobody will guess it because I'm mysterious. All right, enough with my goofing around. Let's jump right into everybody's stuff. Who wants to describe what they're doing first? Okay,
Well, I
since
have no
nobody's
idea.
jumping in, Hugh, I know you're not quite didn't have a decision yet. Mike, you can go
No,
first.
put it out to the fans. Let them see what they want.
Okay, yeah. If somebody wants to decide what Hugh can draw, you can go for that.
By request, nice.
So it is 80's or 90's Muppets mashup TVs or movies. Throw a request out there and Hugh will do it. Mike, I know you have something going already, so what are you going to do?
I'm going to do a Venomized Ralph on this issue 25 of Venom. It's a pretty good copy, actually. And I'm going to do it in Prismacolor and a little bit of white paint, probably. And yeah, it should be fun.
Nice. Now, is that cover pretty easy to work with? Because I know a lot of the Dynamite blank covers are not.
Yeah, these Marvel black ones are actually a little bit better. There's a couple of the black ones that, for whatever reason, I haven't had as much luck with. But these Venom ones are pretty decent, and the Alien ones are awesome. I love drawing on the Alien ones. I also like the fact that the Alien ones has a very tiny word mark on top, like the masthead on top is very small, so you end up having a lot of room to play with the entire surface of the cover. So yeah, it's actually a pretty decent paper, these black ones that Marvel does. Marvel actually has it pretty much down now.
I don't understand why Dynamite, who puts out so many of those different covers, why they don't, like, they must know it's not a good cover to do sketching on, so I don't know why they do it. So
just maximizing profits, man. Hard to say. Like, they're not cheap to buy if you're just a collector.
Sure.
They're not probably cheap to get if you're a retailer, for that matter. But they're not they're not the nicest things to draw on. Like some of them are okay. Like ultimately acrylic paint defeats everything, right? So I can lay down a sketch with, get the colors kind of started with Prismacolor and then go in with a brush and acrylic paint and just do it because, paint kind of wins over any kind of surface. But yeah, for whatever reason, I find the colored ones, the purple ones and the red ones in particular, from Dynamite, to be really kind of repellent to a lot of drawing material. But I don't use a lot of Copics, and I have found that Copics actually kind of stick to those pretty well. Copics or Copics, whatever. I only have a scant handful of those in my arsenal. So, but yeah, I've been getting pretty good luck with these Prismacolor pencils anyway.
That's cool. I see people are doing things in the comments. They're not commenting on the art like they should be. They keep commenting about this Nathan person. I don't know who this Nathan person is, but he sounds pretty awesome. Yeah. So Alicia and Neil, I know you guys are in there listening, and I know Stefan's listening a little bit too. Let's get some requests on what Hugh should do. A Muppets mashup masterpiece.
Yeah.
What's it like weather-wise over here in your area of Canada there, Mike?
Right now it's pretty cold. It's I don't know if it got as low as it is at other places. Like I know they're getting destroyed out east, like -45 in New Brunswick, -42 Montreal.
That's what we had this week in Winnipeg.
Yeah, really. I'm not surprised, man. I wasn't sure how much the West and the Central Canada was being affected, but we're probably at probably like minus 20-ish, but it's a real wet. We're so near the lake. It's just a real raw cold in the wind. So yeah, we haven't been hiking for as long the last couple of days. It's pretty raw. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Not as
no
bad
good.
as you guys though. That's pretty crazy. I mean, minus 42 is nuts.
Yeah, today is a little nicer. It's only minus 20, so that's pretty sad. But I mean, all of January was not too bad, so we were pretty lucky so far.
That's good.
We will jump over to our other Canadian, which is Hugh. I know he doesn't have some art decision yet. I'll make it soon if nobody else does. What's it like over in Alberta there, Hugh?
Oh, it's nice right now. We having a nice Chinook weather coming for the week, man.
Oh,
That's cool.
All in the plus zones, baby. All
Very
in the
nice.
plus zones. I'm a
That's
schoolboy on good times right now.
oh yeah, that's awesome, man.
Oh, here we go. We got Robin Collins says Sam the Eagle as Skekis. I'm not sure what that is.
A
S-K-E.
Skeksis?
Yeah, no, it's Skekis.
I think that's a Skeksis from the Dark Crystal, right?
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So how about
Ooh.
that? We got Sam the Eagle as Skekis from the Dark Crystal. I'm
Sorry, you
assuming.
sounded a little dim. I'm not hearing that fully. So that's Sam the Eagle?
Sam the Eagle as Skekis from the
As a
Dark
Skeksis.
Crystals. Yeah.
Yeah, they're these like weird, grungy looking alien birds.
Can you spell
They
that?
wear
It's
Skeskis.
Yeah, that's what we have here.
And that's from Dark Crystal?
Correct.
Good on
Another
Casey
Jim
for knowing
Henson.
that.
Hey, what can I say? I'm a gigantic nerd.
There you go. And
Um,
now, since Casey's talking, it's your turn, Casey. You can introduce yourself again if you'd like, and also tell us what you're going to do.
Hello, I am stepping in to cover for Kelly tonight, to my great good fortune. Very happy to be here. I was
Sorry.
trying to figure out what on earth I could possibly pick from all of the things I remember fondly. I even tried to limit it just to the 90s so that I could. Oh gosh, that didn't work at all, did it? I'm starting off with the X-Files because, like, 14-year-old me would never forgive myself. So I'm going to do, knee-jerk.
No, that's good, because
Piggy
I
and
was going to
Kermit.
suggest you to do an X-Files when we were talking last night a little bit, but I thought that was too easy. Like, not too
Well-
easy, but not that was too easy on my side. So you go for it. And,
That's
and
fine.
Neil,
So-
no, Mike is not doing Venom as Naked Miss Piggy. It's Ralph as a feminized Ralph. So.
Yep.
All right,
Have we
Mr.
read-
Camillo. I've never spoken with you too much before, but I have seen some of your stuff, and it's great. Why don't you tell us what the weather's like in your area, and also what you're drawing?
Thanks, man. It's pretty hot down here in Australia.
Mhm.
Today is 32 degrees, I think.
Whoa.
I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's pretty hot.
That's okay. I'm Canadian, so I understand Celsius.
Ah, cool.
And is it Saturday night there still, or is it Sunday morning?
Nah, it's Sunday morning. I just woke up.
That's awesome.
I
Well, not
literally
for
just
you, I
rolled out
guess.
of bed and came here.
Good morning.
Thank you. And yeah, I'm drawing a beaker as a Ghostbuster and a ghost animal. Scary things.
That's gonna be wicked.
That's very cool. Sorry, guys, I got distracted there and started watching my own feed and not changing the screen there. So having this mysterious mask on makes it a little harder to see.
The struggles of anonymity.
I know, it's tough. It's mysterious and tough.
Okay, so what should Agent Piggy be holding? She's a gun, but she was a scientist, so.
Yeah. She could have like a clipboard. She's doing an autopsy. She could easily have a gun as well.
I don't know. I don't think a gun is going to be a good option, really.
Yeah, you want to
Just-
keep it.
It's so hard to come up with stuff that, I don't know. Why am I complaining? It's a wonderful thing. I keep glancing over to see everybody else's work. The other reason I love coming to tags is that everybody here is always so good.
Everyone has such a different style as well, which is nice.
Oh, that's nice of you to say. Thanks.
Yeah. While everybody's starting to get their groove going here, I will do a quick little shout out to everybody who has taken part in the Kickstarter. It has been a few of the levels have been reached already, so congrats on that. All you have joined. Feel free for everybody to maybe watching the show if you haven't joined yet to maybe join this, or if you have joined already, maybe you're enjoying it so much you want to add a little bit more and get some more stuff in there. But volume 3 is definitely been funded, and look forward to getting it out because they are always so much fun.
Yeah, they're high quality books, man. They come out really nice.
They are. I have my my copy right here from volume 2. This is one of the tiers. Last time was I got a white cover that Hugh did on my sketch on. He did me and Tyler in our wrestling gear, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Thank you again for that, Hugh.
No problem, man.
And anybody who is watching that is a little bit, or not a little bit, is associated or fans or takes part in the Matt Daddy stuff, Hugh did finish up all the artwork this week, and it has been sent out to us. And as soon as we
Yes,
get it this
sir.
week, we will send it out to you. And thank you again for that, Hugh. I know Nathan and Tyler were very impressed with that artwork.
That's
Thank you,
awesome, man.
Thanks for reaching out, man, and the opportunity. I had no problem. You guys reach out anytime,
I will pass the messages along to those two fine gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go. Robin has suggested for you, Casey, that Piggy could be
Mhm.
holding a trank gun, like a weaponized syringe.
Ooh, good idea. A syringe is
Ooh.
actually perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, because can I do my cool trick again? I have
Okay.
a special new supply that I have made just for this occasion, or at
Mhm.
least made to be first used at this occasion. I have glow in the dark paint.
Ooh. You gotta let me know before you do that next time. I thought I lost your feed. I started to panic for a second there.
Well, you're not the only one who likes to be a little mysterious.
That's true.
This is the first time I've been on in a little while.
Yeah,
how
man.
was everybody's holidays? Was it good? The whole Christmas and everything. Everybody's holidays
Mine
were
was
good?
quiet, but it was good, yeah.
Great. How about you?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. No complaints. It's nice.
Who managed to stay sick free during the holidays? I know so many people got sick.
Ooh, thank you.
Mm.
No, I managed to avoid it. Yeah.
That's good.
But
Well,
I've
if
been
you were
lucky.
sick enough last year, you didn't need it this time.
No,
so.
man. No, I'm really being careful these days. It's not recovering as well as I used to. That's for sure. So.
Mhm.
But yeah. No, I managed to stay healthy over the holidays for sure. Actually, the holidays for me were pretty restful. I had I finished off a couple of projects that had a clashing deadline in 1 week, so I kind of burnt really hard about halfway through December to hit those deadlines, and then I just, as soon as I got them done, there was just some part of my head that just switched off, and I kind of just went into more of a restful kind of mode, and I actually only did any drawing on tags. I actually didn't really do anything throughout the week except, I would do some thumbnailing and stuff on Dodge, and I would kind of work out some problems on Dodge and whatnot on paper, but I wasn't doing any drawing for fun or doing any drawing for any reason, really. It was a really strange long break to take. I don't typically do that. I always like to draw on Christmas. I always like to draw on New Year's Eve. I always like to draw on New Year's Day. I always kind of want to cap the years with drawing. And this year is the first year I didn't really do that, except on New Year's Day. Erica always wants to do art day on New Year's Day. So she had some new art supplies she wanted to try and a project she wanted to do, a printmaking project. And I decided to just kind of sketch all day. But it had been about 2 or 3 weeks since my last drawing at that point, and I was really just rusty and had a hard time kind of getting back on the saddle. So kind of getting back there now, but it was a weird time. It was good in a lot of ways because I think I just needed to shut down, and I actually did. So it almost worked a little too well, but it must have been required, in some capacity. So
It's better to be done by choice instead of being forced to.
well, that's the thing.
very
That
good
was what the alternative was starting to look like, right? So, yeah. Oh my! All right.
Trying to draw like a broad-shouldered leading man as Kermit the Frog is a little tricky.
Very.
Yeah, that's a place where drawing with the Muppets is really a challenge. Because sometimes you need the anatomy to work in your favor. It's like turning Grover into Han Solo is okay. Like that worked that day because I was drawing like a slim young Harrison Ford. It kind of worked. But yeah, there's you almost have to just step right outside. Like this is basically Ralph being venomized, but the bits that are venom are going to look like venom. I'm not going to make him shaggy or fluffy. He's going to be all veiny and, monstery. So the rest of them will be the Muppet part, though, which I think will be kind of funny in contrast. But yeah, I just kind of break away from the anatomy sometimes that you're limited to by the Muppets if you can, because it can be well, it's nice to work in those parameters sometimes too, but yeah, you just got to do what you got to do.
That's it.
His little tiny hands. His tiny itty bitty little hands.
I'm right in the room, please.
It's only because he's got like spindly frog arms. You're not a frog that I'm aware of, Mr.
No,
X.
but I do have
If
spindly,
that's your real name.
I do have spindly frog arms. I know you're just trying to get information out of me. Who's got cool projects coming up they want to talk about? Nobody?
Well, I'm drawing Dodge right now. I'm just finishing off the last issue of Dodge, and I got a mountain of work ahead of me to go yet, but it's coming along, and some pretty grim stuff I have to draw, some pretty hard material to handle, but I think the payoff's gonna be worth it. And yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to getting that Kickstarter going and getting that project launched. But that's my only thing right now on the go, and I'm kind of good with that right now. I have a whole pile of commissions I'd love to get to eventually, but they're all just stuff on the list. I haven't really taken any payment from anybody. These are all just things on the list that I have to get to eventually when I can. And there's people who've been waiting since Granite. There's people who've been waiting since Fan Expo. There's people who've been waiting since longer than that even. There's a couple people who've been waiting actually a couple of years because they have kind of bigger or more elaborate commissions that I really need like a block of time to do. So it's they've been piling up. I got a really weird long list that makes me It's like on a long scroll. Actually, it's
Like Santa's list.
it's an ugly, hateful thing. But I'm blessed to have so many people waiting. I just hate to keep anybody waiting for long, and they've all been waiting a long damn time now. So I just the way she goes sometimes, you know.
It's worth it.
And have that fade a bit into the background so that it's less. There we go.
And what about you, Mr. Camillo? Are you what's on the agenda for you after you're done with tags? You got a whole day ahead of you after this.
Mm.
Yeah, I might go back to sleep, to be honest.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah, usually after the stream, I'll get another couple hours sleep.
32 degrees. I don't blame you, man. I wouldn't want to move around too much.
Yeah.
I'm not built for that kind of heat, man. That's tough.
It still gets hotter than that.
Oh, I know. I'm sure it does.
Yeah, because for right now, because we're in winter, you're in your middle of summer, right?
Yeah.
And this has been like one of the coolest summers ever. So
Well, that's good.
we've
Usually in winter, all you usually hear from Australia is big fires and that. So it's good that's not happening.
yeah.
Whereabouts in Australia are you?
I'm in Sydney.
Oh, right in Sydney. That's cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen winter before?
Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah, you've seen Canadian winter.
Not Canadian, but I was born in Italy, so I've seen the snow before.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's cool, man.
Wow, it's been a long time since I've seen this dark crystal, man.
Oh, dude.
Forgot how ugly these birds were, man. They were like,
Yeah. That
These are
movie
ugly.
was scary when I was a kid, I remember.
Yeah.
The thing when the podling is having like their soul sucked out is genuine nightmare fuel.
Has
Yeah,
anyone
man,
watched any of
this
these
thing is
sequel
like-
stuff that's come out in the last few years?
The new series that Netflix did, it's a crime they canceled it. It's very good.
Oh, really?
I heard it was
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I heard it was very good.
I know they've had a few recent comic book series in the last couple of years, but I've never read them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the exception of like stickers or cards that I may have had as a kid in the very early 80s, I actually don't have any recollection of having seen the Dark Crystal. I know that it's something I would have probably seen, but like I have no memory of it whatsoever, except, you know, I recognize the characters from the film or whatever, but I honestly just don't remember if I ever saw it. I don't know anything about the story. It doesn't ring any kind of bells. Tron, there's another one like that, the original Tron. I don't know that I've actually sat through it, but I remember the, you know, the McDonald's toys and stuff,
Right.
and like the weird kitschy stuff that came out around Tron in the day. But that's it. That's all I remember. Like, I don't think I ever saw the thing.
I remember Tron because they played it in school every time there was a chance for like a movie day.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's cool.
Lucky.
That and Raiders of the Lost Ark, which
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark is not really like a kid-friendly movie.
Oh,
you know?
well, not by the sensitive nature of today's standards. No, I don't think so. But yeah, it could be a tough one to watch for sure for some kids.
Well, especially towards that last scene where everybody's faces are melting off.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, isn't that the movie when it was made really clear that like Indiana Jones and was her name Marion?
Yeah.
Had gotten involved when she was like 14.
I don't think they really said her age, but yeah, they did kind of allude that she was super young because she was the daughter of his mentor.
Yeah.
So that's also going to be a
And the
reason to
whole
stop.
Nazi theme.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
well.
there's lots of that kind of stuff too. Yeah. So, but
I always
I
remember that
always
one
feel like-
scene. That one scene where Indy's fighting that big German guy on the tarmac of the
oh
plane,
yeah,
and he
Oh,
just
that's a good
gets
one.
chopped up with the plane. Yeah.
yeah, crazy man.
I'm very
Sad.
curious to see how that new Indiana Jones movie coming out soon is with him in it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Is it a movie or a TV series? I think it's a movie.
It's a movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
I wonder what they had to do to Harrison Ford to get him to come back and play Indiana Jones again.
Nothing. I bet he
Nothing.
loves that role.
Indiana Jones, I think, is one that he loves. Yeah, I think it's Han Solo he has issues with. That
He does. Yeah.
he wanted to, like, he only agreed to come back to do Empire if they killed him.
That's right.
And they compromised and said, "Well, how about we just freeze you to death for a while or whatever and carbonate him?" And he was like, "Fine."
Well, and
then,
that's why he got killed off in those sequels towards the end there too. That was he said, "I'll come back for this one last cameo again, but you have to kill me."
Yeah.
That's okay. Eventually, they won't need actors anymore. Everything will just be replaced with AI the way it's going. So,
God, have you seen some of the samples of video editing that's put out there right now, where they can change like eye line and mouth movement to match like different direction during scenes after the fact, or if they're doing dubbing in another language, they can change the mouth movements to match the lines being said by mapping the actual actor's face and then having a native speaker say the words and then mapping the mouth movements to the actor's face.
okay, they do all that, but they still say that government doesn't use facial recognition. So,
So you want to know something really interesting and possibly, I don't know whether it's going to change things for the future. This was tested at the Olympics this year. You want to know what the best counteracting agent for facial recognition stuff is? And I'm not joking. Juggalo makeup.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, you wear like at the no, it was not the Olympics, it was the World Cup. At the World Cup, they had people going in with like various country themed Juggalo makeup and then tracking like, are people with that makeup recognized? Are people with various color blocks recognized? Are people with bare faces recognized, and so on? And just wearing face paint didn't confuse the system enough, but Juggalo makeup for some reason did.
Interesting. Huh.
Now, how to get Gillian Anderson's genuinely luscious hair right.
I find it lovely ironic how you have all these theories you're spitting out, Casey, and doing an X-Files piece at the same time.
You know what? You're right. Let's just pretend I was, on theme and totally appropriate as opposed to spouting nonsensical nonsense.
That's okay. It's all good. This is a free public forum. We got Rob here saying every Batman movie, if it was just dubbed over with old Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill dialogue, it would be fine with him.
Yeah, that would be actually pretty cool.
Actually, it would.
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think with all the DC announcements this week, with all what their announcements are for the next few years, movie-wise and entertainment-wise?
Yeah, I thought there was some good sounding stuff, man. Like I was really surprised and quite happy to see them tackling the Authority, because I love that comic back in the day when it was Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch, and then later when Frank Whiteley was drawing it and stuff.
But do you think they'll actually portray it that way, or do you think they'll do it like in a
Well, I don't know. I mean,
soft
I know
way?
there's some criticism of like the stuff where, like, I'm thinking of Authority before it became part of the DC universe,
Right.
and once it became part of the DC universe, I didn't read any of that stuff, so I don't know what it was all about. If they're pulling from that material, then I have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
But the one that I'm most interested in, honestly, out of all of that, was the Booster Gold, because I thought it's a great. If they do a show, I can't remember if you said it was a show or a film, but
I think it's going to be a show. It said.
I feel like that's a great format for that, because what you'd be able to do then is you'd be able to tie in a little bit with the Blue Beetle stuff, which I know is not related to the Ted Cord stuff that much.
Yeah.
But you'd be able to have Blue Beetle. You'd be able to have Booster Gold go back in time and hang out with Ted. And if you cast the right two people in that, you could have television gold for a long time, because they're such beloved characters in the books. And so much of the Booster Gold comic in the last, my recollection is him kind of going back in time to hang out with his friend before his friend gets murdered by Maxwell Lord, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And even the more recent one was a similar same sign, like the more recent series, same thing. So yeah, that'll look good too. I'm interested to see a Swamp Thing movie.
Yeah, that felt like too obvious for me to mention for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited about that, especially if they're able in some way to. I really do feel like they did some fantastic material with the TV show. I thought the casting was brilliant. The guy they had playing, Woodrue was incredible. Derek Mears as Swamp Thing was great. And just really born to play that kind of role. Really, he's just such a gentle giant of a guy in real life too. I feel like it would be a crime to not have him come back and play the role in a film, because he was just so damn good at it for what was required of him. Yeah, man, I'm excited about that too for sure.
We have a question here for you, Casey, from Robin.
Mhm.
He goes, "May I ask you a personal question? What is it like being a female artist in a predominantly male-populated industry? And do you fellas find that the female artist brings something that changes the game?" So you being the female can go first, and then the fellas can chime in afterwards.
See, I'm not sure I'm successful enough to answer this question. I'm not sure I've experienced enough. I know that it's hard to tell what's actually some kind of cultural issue and what's just me, being a novice and sometimes being insecure. There are times when I feel like I have to prove myself, but again, hard to say. I feel like I would say the best comparison I can give is just in convention experiences, and it's gotten so much better over the course of my life that I am less worried about trying now than I would have been trying 20 years ago.
Or
So-
do you find you just try in a different way? Like your focus is geared like towards a different way instead of, like, you know what I'm
No,
saying? No?
I've
Okay.
always been try hard.
Okay.
But gosh, it's hard to say this because, again, I don't feel like I've experienced enough to really speak with authority on this matter.
Yeah,
Tell you what,
your answer sounded
let
very
me-
thoughtful.
Oh, I appreciate that. So tell you what, let's circle back on this question after I publish a couple of books. Help me
Sure.
get work,
I
and then
think-
I'll tell you anything you want to know.
I think any good artist is very critical of themselves. So I mean, you always want to come back to something like that. But
Mhm.
So Mike, Hugh, Camillo, what do you guys feel about that question?
Well, I don't think as a man that I could speak as to the experience of a woman in the comics business, but I just, I think there's opportunities out there for everybody, and there's certainly room, and everyone's welcome. It's I can't really speak to what it would be like, though, to be honest.
I myself,
how
just
would be different?
being a comic consumer for 40 plus years, that in the 70s and 80s, women mostly were only allowed to work on women stuff or women related stuff. Much like in the advertising game is the same thing too. But then once people start allowing just more things like that to happen, where I don't know, a woman can write a Batman comic or something like that. I think that definitely has changed stuff. Same with art wise too. In particular, someone like Gail Simone. She did.
Yeah, I love Gail.
Yeah, and again too, she wrote lots of iconic stuff, and I think a lot of people won't even realize until they went back and looked at it that was a female writer. So
Mhm.
I would assume the same thing transitions over to artistry as well too, because there's a lot of amazing female artists out there nowadays. So
Yeah,
That's
it's just-
true.
yeah,
And
not
there's
that
a
there
huge
wasn't
range
before, but they're recognized now. So
there. I just think it's great that we're getting this. We're getting
Sorry.
a wider pool to tap for ideas.
sure.
The more people there are making stuff, the more ideas we get to see, and I love that. Ears are
Mhm.
so hard. Why are pig ears hard? Ugh.
How's your boys, Hugh?
It's going good, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, and as for that question, honestly, I just look forward to the day when it's like there's no, oh, you're a female artist or you're a black artist. You're just an artist.
Yeah, I
I just
get
look
you.
forward to that
Mm.
day. Like it, I don't understand that question really. Like, is the woman drawing in a different way than us? That is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's Casey doing there? That's a weird style of line she's doing. Like,
Well,
I don't like. We all learn the same fundamentals, and then everything after that is cosmetic. Everything's just an expression of that. Like,
sure.
these labels sometimes I just feel it's like, I mean, it's a shame that it's there,
It's old
but
school thinking.
there's a lot of women artists, especially that I've seen in the past how many years, especially on the convention scene, that
Mm-hmm.
just murder dudes, like
Oh, yeah.
murder
Mm-hmm.
guys,
Mhm.
murder guys, and in the end, it really just comes down to your skill set and just how much you want it. You know what I'm saying? The hunger for more. You got to keep
Sure.
that always in front.
Yep.
And art doesn't have any kind of, well, shouldn't have any kind of, oh, well, guys over here, girls over there. It's just art, man. Everything's
Mhm.
just expression, and it's just how much do you express and how well do you express what it is that you're doing. And people are going to gravitate to what you're doing, and people aren't going to gravitate to what you're doing. It just is what it is,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know
And I just
Nathan has mentioned to me in the past, because I'm not Nathan, I'm Mr. X, that being a hairdresser, it's the same thing too. It's like you still have some people that'll be like, oh, I prefer a male hairdresser or I prefer a female hairdresser. And when I get someone in my chair like that, or when Nathan gets someone in the chair like that, I should say, I always say to them, like, what difference does it make? No, the different parts that we have, we're not using during the haircut. So like,
Mhm.
And I get it. Sometimes for people, it's a comfort zone. You know, they feel more comfortable with a female
sure.
if they're female, or a guy feels more comfortable. It just is what it is. But I just think that these labels sometimes, like, I get asked that question. Well, how does it feel to be a black artist? I'm like, oh, shades of Scorpius. I didn't know I was drawing so differently from the white artist. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
It's just no, it's just it is. It's just art. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I do. And people are gonna like what I do, or people's gonna hate what I do. It just is what it is. You know.
Well,
But
I
I
like
think,
what you're doing right now. It looks great.
Yeah, for sure.
thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah. So I mean, shout out to all the female artists out there just bringing the ruckus. Straight up. You know, shout out to anybody just coming and doing this thing. It's a great art form, man. Especially comic books for me. It's just like I just love it. You know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, not
It's
just
just
comic books with you. Your children's art books are great too.
you know. The children's book for me is, and no disrespect to my comics or nothing like that, because I love my comics book. The children's book, to have been able to do the John Weir story, was one of the high points of my, career. Just doing something, being able to give back to the kids. You know what I'm saying? Something
Sure.
educational,
Mhm.
learning, and steeped in historical fact. You know what I'm saying? Something that teachers could use, parents could use to educate their kids. Like, that for me was just like such a big high. I mean, yeah, I always loved drawing, would love drawing Spider-Man and other things like that. But you know, that was a big one for me. I won't even lie. I'm just like, it just felt good, you know. It's in the stores, you know. You can go to like Indigo and order it. And,
Yeah, man, it's the best.
it's really
Yeah.
cool, man. It's
I've shown it to many people, my copy that I've gotten.
mhm.
Plus, my copy has that nice shiny gold seal on it for the
That's
award
right,
you won.
man.
So.
That's right. You know, it's just like, yeah, it's just one of those things. You know, it's just like when I get teachers hitting me up and they're like, "Oh, we used your book in class and the kids are loving it," and you know, and get asked to come and do drawing sessions at schools and stuff. It's just an awesome feeling, you know.
It's the best, man.
Yeah.
And I forget at the moment, I'm drawing a blank, but what's the second one? That's
It's
the
Howdy
female,
and
right?
yeah, it's Howdy and Florence Ledoux, and so she was a female trick writer,
Right.
and she was one of the best in the world. Actually, she used to beat men. She's also the wife of Guy Whittick, who was the man who basically founded the Calgary Stampede with some other gentlemen. And yeah, um, big. You know, she was doing things that at the time women weren't really looked at as, you know,
Right.
and she was one of the best in the world for what she did. You know, beating men in competition and stuff like that, but never really got that prominence because she was a woman, even though she was winning mad tournaments. A lot of people don't know about her, so it was a nice way to put her into a book, children's book, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Bring
I
some
have to
light.
get a copy of that one still.
Yeah, you know, yeah, that's Red Barn Books. You know, you can hit up Red Barn,
Mhm.
and my copies are gone, but you can hit up Red Barn, and yeah, definitely.
Oh, speaking of Red Barn, I got a neat little Red Barn, I guess, fun fact if you guys want to hear it. I saw it yesterday.
Hmm.
Do you know why barns are painted red?
No.
Originally, barns were red because they treated the wood with this kind of special tree sap, and then they had to add rust and something else to it as well too to prevent fungus and mold from growing on it, and it made it look red. And to this day, they're still painted red just as tradition.
Interesting.
Yes. So.
What I always wonder about barns is why no one ever repairs them. They just build them and they let them just slowly fall
Deteriorate.
apart for 100 years, and then they'll just leave the skeletal bones of them up for like another 100 years, and then eventually those will come down, and it'll be 4 generations later, and then someone will decide to use that lawn for like a pool or something else.
Or they'll build a new barn right next to the old one instead
Yeah,
of just fixing it up.
they're never maintained. They're always just left to just die. There's got to be some reason for that. There's got to be some reason why they're just like, yeah, fuck the barns, man. Barns, they've had their day. They've had their day. We'll let them just remember. We'll let all the world know how shameful it was to be a barn by leaving their scattered remains to slowly fester out in public for all eternity until someone comes with a bulldozer and pushes it all away.
Well, I guess in all fairness, lifespan back then was about half of what it was now.
Yeah.
So maybe they just didn't care, you know?
Possible, yeah.
Counterpoint?
Yes.
Sorry, I was checking to see whether I muted myself. Counterpoint, every barn becomes haunted eventually. Creepy haunted barns.
True.
Probably, yeah.
Try something a little different with my normal process today. Do the lines first.
What is your normal process? You'll do the lines, then you ink, and then you paint. They do the watercolors, or you just do all watercolor?
Normally, I do pencil sketch and then watercolors, and then afterwards determine whether I want to put lines in or what color or how to do them.
Okay.
But it looks a little bit more like friendly and cartoony to do the lines first, and this is Muppets, so.
Now that it is February, has anybody got any special Valentine's plans coming up?
My husband and I are going to the arcade.
Oh, but like an old-fashioned arcade or like a newer one?
It's a arcade bar, but it's still an old-fashioned arcade. They've got like
Okay.
3 rooms of, pinball and video games and such.
Oh,
It's
that's
gonna be a good
fantastic.
time.
They have one of those in Winnipeg too, and it has like everything. Like has even like bowling and axe throwing, and like I said, all the old retro games and that. It's really cool.
That's fun.
Mike, have you ever tried axe throwing? That sounds like something that would be right up your alley.
Long time ago, before they had like axe throwing places, I would just if they ever had axe throwing at like Renaissance festivals or something like that, I used to go to a lot of Ren fairs,
Mm-hmm.
and I would always throw axes there, and it always just felt kind of natural and good to throw axes at things. So I can't really explain it other than that. It just kind of felt normal. But I'd love to do that. I'd love to do a proper night of axe throwing. Erica's birthday is coming up this month. We were looking for something cool to do. Maybe we'll do something like that.
Is she sitting with you tonight?
Sorry?
She's sitting with you tonight?
No, she's up in her studio doing her stuff up there. She's been spending the whole month just getting her studio kind of rebuilt and getting her, new equipment that she's got set up, and she's just trying to get her processes going there. So, yeah. One thing we're thinking of doing though, the provincial park near us, Brawny Provincial Park, they have these kind of concrete like outdoor eating shelters, like for people who want to have birthday parties and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's February, it's cold, but I was actually thinking, if we get a decent day and it's not wet or anything, we might actually try to book one of those for her birthday, because they have these fireplace and chimneys built into them.
Yeah.
And we were thinking we would just sit outside and just burn firewood all day and just draw outside on her birthday. Like that might be just kind of a fun, chill thing to do with some thermoses of hot coffee and whatever. And, it'd be like invite, or open invite if anyone's in the area and goes to Brawny Park, they could come and hang out and draw with us with a fire. That's the idea anyway. So
That's pretty cool.
see if we can do that.
Sounds like a nice way to celebrate her 30th birthday.
Yeah. She would thank you for saying that. Yes. I wasn't sure if I should give Ralph a venomized ear or just make his head like a round Muppet ball head, but I thought made the ear and just made it slick like venom material. It looked like a weird like flipper on his head, and I thought that was kind of cool, so I decided to keep the ear.
Venomized Ralph would probably just murder at the piano. Right, both figuratively and literally.
Oh,
He would
get like 5 hands going there.
Yeah, he'd get all kinds of tendrils going, playing the pianos and playing the keys. That'd be great.
right up until the moment that he eats somebody.
I had a bunch of weird ideas for this. If I get through this one quickly enough, I have another backup that I wanted to do as well, which is creepy and will probably ruin someone's childhood out there. But we'll see if I get that far.
Oh, now I got to know though.
Well, if I don't do it today, maybe let's do it another time. But,
Oh, all right.
We'll see.
Keep your secrets. Did I close down the chat? I wanted to see what people were saying. Hi, everybody.
We've had some good stuff in there. The ones I keep checking too, and I asked you that one good question, and everyone always just thinks that we all know that Mike loves Swamp Thing, and Swamp Thing beats everybody no matter what. So.
Mm-hmm.
Although I kind of would have to disagree about Swamp Thing versus Tendril from Inhumanoids, because that Inhumanoid thing is pretty big, but
Yeah.
I think Swamp Thing could beat that.
Yeah. Tendril's a pretty rad fucking character, though, man.
All those
I
characters
always
were.
thought that was such an awesome looking monster, and I never had any of the big monsters from Inhumanoids as a kid. I had the guy who was split like half magma,
Yeah.
half stone, and I had one of the stone, like kind of just the regular stone soldier dudes, and then I had Augur of the like the hero side, who's awesome. I always love that
I
character.
forget his name, but that big one, that big skeleton-looking one, where he put people inside his actual chest. That was pretty awesome.
Compose, yeah, decompose, yeah.
That was the best one. It was,
Tendril, decompose, and oh shit, what
and
was
he had
that?
like Starscream's voice, like in the cartoon.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, man. Those monsters-
One of you guys should have done Muppets and Humanoids.
I could have, yeah, could have gone that way.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't sure which way to go. I thought just in case it was movies as a one of the
Mhm.
attributes, I was gonna at least pick a comic that's also been a movie. But
Well, that's okay. Much like on the DM channel now, Stefan is, or on the Dicey channel, Stefan's the DM now, where Nathan used to be, and Stefan's a little bit more stricter on all the rules, where I'm a little bit more laid back. So you guys could have gone almost anything Muppets.
oh yeah,
As long as you showed up and didn't make me look like an idiot. Yes, Rob, you have to buy that X-Files piece from KC because I'm not allowed to bid on it in this auction. So
Oh,
Rob wants it really bad, he says.
aw.
Hey,
Well,
Rob.
Hey, Rob. So, did you also have the X-Files encyclopedia when you were younger? Because I did.
I still do.
I was.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. X, please continue. Tell me all about your X-Files obsession because I was obsessed.
Oh, I still have them, and I actually just the other day I threw up like almost like a little diorama set of the original action figures from it
Mhm.
because I managed to get a perfect 9/8 copy of the first issue and also one in newsstand as well. Yeah, but yeah, I like the X-Files a lot. I think it's probably one of the best shows ever made, to be honest. It was just so different. I know nowadays people don't think too much of it, but when that show came out, it was
X-Files was the bomb, man.
Oh
It
man,
was
it was
amazing.
awesome. Every
I'll tell you.
Friday night or whatever it was, I was
Friday, it was
every
on
like
Sundays, and it was on a few different nights.
I just have one thing to say on that, man.
Yeah.
Peacock family.
Yes, I knew you were gonna say that too. Yeah, that and the
That
earlier
episode was
first season,
crazy.
like the fluke creatures, or the fluke man, and that one guy that was like would eat livers and wake up every 70 years or whatever, or 7
Oh,
years.
yeah,
or-
that
Oh,
guy.
boy.
Toombs, that's his name, Toombs. Yeah.
I love how it would like vacillate in tone from like you'd have a funny, cute episode and then you'd have a literal like
Yeah.
40-minute horror movie.
Totally. And I was always appreciative because they were filmed in Canada. They were all filmed around the Vancouver area.
mhm.
Mhm.
Mr. Camillo, what do you have to say? You're pretty quiet there. I know it's early morning. Do you
About the
agree with
X-Files?
us? Were you an X-Files fan?
Yeah, but I discovered the X-Files when I was a little bit older. I remember it coming out and me thinking it had something to do with the X-Men.
Yeah.
And always trying to stay up to watch an episode thinking like Wolverine or someone's going to show up. But later on, I got into it because my dad became a big fan. And we used to watch it together.
Aw.
That's cool.
Yep, it's a great show. I've owned it on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. I think I have it on my menu or my queue in on Disney Plus. Like, it's just a great show to have on at
Oh,
any
yeah.
time.
Oh, it's on Disney Plus now?
Yeah, because they own Fox, right? So. There's not much left that Disney or Amazon doesn't own. So
Yeah, really.
It's true.
one of them's gonna own the WWE eventually, or Saudi Arabia. But
Yeah. One of the two.
Why not both? The as long as they don't keep shooting themselves in the foot like Netflix does. Oh my God, it's like every time they get a chance to make a decision, they make a bad one.
Well, even on their shows that they hear are popular and people say good things about, they seem to cancel.
So I read a theory about that, and this one is based on how residuals are paid out.
Oh,
There is a loophole in the residuals contracts for most shows and movies, right? Which was put in after the writer's strike that happened way back in the day, because people weren't getting paid for streams of their shows because they weren't broadcasts, legally speaking, right?
oh, okay.
There is a window of time, right,
Mhm.
where like streams of a show or what have you don't count towards residuals, right?
Okay.
So if you have a big exciting show and you launch it all as a single burst, not appointment viewing, right?
Yeah.
And everybody binges it in the first 2 weeks, and then most people don't rewatch it, you pay out next to nothing in residuals. And if you don't continue it, nobody goes back to watch the previous season, so you pay next to nothing in residuals.
Oh, so it's just them being sneaky.
It's, you know, capitalism once again ruins everything.
True. So now, Casey, Rob was saying also with your X-Files thing, you have to have Statler as the smoking man.
Ooh. Tell you what, Rab, if I get a little bit of time to myself when I work on this,
Yeah.
if you buy this, if you beat out everybody else, I will make you a little sketch card to go next to it.
Well, there you go, Rob. Incentive for you to keep bidding.
But where is Waldorf, though? Where would Waldorf be?
Waldorf could be Fox's dad.
Oh, good point. And then, of course, he wouldn't be in the picture. Ah, but much.
Hugh, is that mark you're using right now?
Yep.
Yeah. Camillo, when I was a little kid, I used to have a light up tray, almost identical like that, and I would do the same stuff. It's kind of weird. I wouldn't think like to this day with all the other stuff out there, something as simple like that is still being used.
Yeah, it's I do like all my pencils on an
Oh,
iPad.
I see. Yeah, yeah.
So then I put it under here and trace over. Yeah, it's probably one of my most handy tools. And they're super cheap as well.
Well, I remember being a little kid, I guess it was probably in the late 70s, early 80s, getting it for Christmas. And it'd be much like everything else back then that you'd use it too long and you could smell the plastic melting or anything like that. So you had to give it a break.
One of these nights we'll have to do the what's that called? Mighty Men and Monsters mix-up game. You know, with the that old toy from the 70s and 80s. I have a set of it here. I think Stefan also has a set. It's that one where there's all these different plates where you do rubbings.
Oh yeah.
You change the
I had
head,
that
change
too.
the body, change the legs. Change the arms, whatever it was.
There was all different kinds of themes of them. I
Yeah,
remember
they
my
were
sister
fucking
had a Barbie
awesome,
one.
man.
Yeah.
Like
I saw that on Facebook the other day. It was like on I guess an Amazon ad for art supplies and stuff, and they do still sell stuff like that.
They still make them, yeah. They still make them, I think.
Yeah, I think for fashion people.
Toy. Yeah, they got like fashion ones now and stuff, and I think they had them then too, actually. But yeah, it was good, pretty good. I actually was part of a group. I think a Facebook page still exists. It's called the Championship League of Champions, and it was a little drawing club that I had started with my friend Andrew Barr, and Mike Fye and Kagan McLeod were all did it originally at the beginning, and we were just making up our own wrestlers, but then it eventually morphed into doing illustrations of those Mighty Men and Monster characters, and it was good fun.
That's cool.
Sounds like a good time.
One cartoon that I actually quite liked from the 80s that doesn't get much love because it kind of got overshadowed by He-Man like a year or two later. It was made by the same company. Was Black Star. Do you guys remember Black Star?
Yeah. Was it made by the same company or a competitor?
Yeah. No, it's made by Filmation.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought like the toys were in direct competition with each other, though.
At one point, I guess that's why they stopped making it. But
yeah,
it
was. The toys. The show was great, but I love the toys too. They were fantastic.
Yeah. No, was it Black Star or Blast Star? No, Black Star. Yeah.
Black Star. Yeah, Black Star. Yeah. Similar concept too. There was a sword, like a great power that was split in half. There was like, it would almost like it pulled more stuff from the He-Man mini comics in a way. The story of it, it was kind of interesting, but it was great.
He was like a lost astronaut that got sucked through like a time warp or a wormhole. That was a good one too.
It was good, yeah.
I feel like there's a guy with a really special sword is half of 80s cartoons, though.
Yes,
I mean that's Thundercats.
Sure, yeah.
Well, now I can't think of an example other than Thundercats, but Thundercats is a pretty big example.
Yeah.
Well, even Visionaries was they weren't swords; they were like not staffs with like hologram totems on it. Same idea.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that I also like too that nobody seems to talk about was Brave Star, the kind of space cowboy western.
Yeah.
That was a good one too.
That show. Love that show. It was great.
And that was made by Filmation as well, I think. So.
Filmation, making Mr. X's entire childhood.
There was a lot of that. He-Man and She-Ra and Filmation for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And then once you hit the other group, it was always Dick or Deke. Yeah. And the Sunbow, Marvel Sunbow stuff.
Yeah.
For Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Mask. Oh, there's a good one too, Mask.
Yeah. Mask was fun, yeah.
I don't know why that one hasn't been redone. Everybody else has been redone, but Mask hasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. It was never the success that it could have been, I felt. Like, I'm not really sure what the deal was, but it didn't sort of catch on like other things did.
It would catch on nowadays, totally.
We're talking about the Jim Carrey movie, right?
No, Mask. It's called Mask. It was
the original comic.
MASK.
In
the 80s, it was like in the era of like
G.I. Joe,
the toy cartoon wars, basically. And
they were special people that like each was like a special agent. They had like a special vehicle that was like not a transformer per se, but it was like had souped up abilities.
Controlled by their mask that they'd wear, which is like a helmet that had like different stylations on it. And there was a lot of weird stuff like Jason the Wheeled Warriors and stuff that made cartoons that were cool. They were different,
Sure.
But they were just to sell the toys, or try to sell the toys anyway.
Oh,
one of the few things we can thank Reagan for.
Yeah,
true. What's that pirate one? Pirates of Blackwater. That was a great one
good
too.
Stuff. That was really good stuff, man.
I know people who worked on the animation on that.
Oh yeah,
oh, yeah? That's a great one. And then I know they're doing a comic sequel to it this year. The D&D cartoon. That's one of my favorite cartoons, probably of all time.
Oh yeah, man, it was great. Yeah. Thundar was mine, and again, it was the same thing. Yeah. It came out before He-Man, so it had that, it had that magic. It had the sun sword, had that vibe as well. That Star Wars meets medieval meets, apocalyptic world kind of stuff, right? So,
but what's not a good cartoon was the actual Conan cartoon. That was not good.
You know what? It was all we had. I watched it. I sat through with gritted teeth through most of the time. But, you know, the 90s was a time that was strangely devoid of Conan material.
Yeah.
And I watched that cartoon. I just lament that, like all cartoons of the day, it had to have a shitty sidekick character. You know, the
Yes.
fucking phoenix, the baby phoenix that lives in his shield. Like, my God, man! But otherwise, it had some cool stuff to it. But
just some things don't transition over well to good kids cartoons. Like
Yeah.
why did they make RoboCop ones, or why did they make Rambo cartoons for kids?
well, you know,
Rambo movies were always restricted.
if anyone actually ever read any of the comics alone, but if you had ever read any of the Robert E. Howard books and then decided to make a children's cartoon out of that material,
No.
you got some strange ideas, man.
Sure.
That's really what it is. But you know, that was some pretty grim material he used to write. You know, those Conan books were pretty intense. Pretty intense, you know.
They're awesome.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
But like not kids show you
No.
know, material like at all.
All right. Gotta go get an eraser.
On Casey's artwork here, everybody, she makes these handy little borders there herself. I watched her do it on the pre-show there. She has a little magic tape that she makes everyone little theme border there. So.
I'm not sure if applying tape is necessarily like a creative act, but I appreciate that you liked my box of tape.
Well, it's themed tape, and nobody else has any tape on their stuff. So yeah, you should get a shout out for that.
Okay. I have a whole jar of erasers and it's disappeared.
Ironic.
For goodness sake.
Wow.
Okay, that's fine. Emergency backup eraser.
I keep mine literally on a string with a metal eyelet on it because otherwise I would be on my knees looking for my eraser for 90% of my day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for you to tell us a story about your desk, Mike, because I love your desk stories.
Now we need to know a desk story. Tell us a desk story.
Mike's got a desk that's like 500 pounds and just huge. It's got a lot of history.
It's a desk that used to belong to a professional artist here in town many years ago. He had this desk built for him. It was custom made, so none of the parts that break can be replaced because they're made, they're made custom, and it's got a broken axle basically, so the desk is resting on a bookshelf to keep it on this level because I have no way to tighten the angle the desk is on. And I can't part with the desk. I mean, I probably should part with the desk and just get myself a new desk. But it's like it was made in the 50s, and it's amazing. And when I was teaching, it was the one that I was using for all of my lessons when I was a teacher. And my wife actually ended up winning this in a Christmas auction when they were getting rid of a bunch of old stuff out of the art school that we taught at. And so she snagged it for the auction for me. So, so I can't really get rid of it, but I want to get it repaired. But I need someone who knows how to build things and do stuff to to help me with that because I really don't know what to do with it.
So if anybody knows any good desk people in Mike's area.
I think I'm just going to take the broken axle out and see if I can just find something like it. It's basically a super long threaded bolt but it's like really long. It's longer than usual. Not the kind of thing you'd find at the average hardware store, probably.
Yeah.
So I might have to get that machined or made for me, but we'll see.
Yeah, I was going to say machinists will usually be able to shape a bolt for you, but I don't know what that would cost professionally or whether it's something you just need to persuade a hobbyist to do for you.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if I had a lathe, I could do it myself, but I don't.
Oh,
Have...
if I had a lathe, the things like, no, sorry.
Yeah, really, for sure.
Anybody feel like promoting any side projects they have on the go right now? Because, like, I know with us, we have the Things Are Getting Dicey channel. That's we've been doing that the last 6 months. That's been a lot of fun. If anybody's a D&D fan, they should check that out. I'm pretty sure we're having a game this Monday, but
I really want to get on a campaign, but at the time right now.
I know it's tough.
Yeah, it's brutal right
But
now.
I would really love to. Seriously, really.
Yeah.
Really
We're doing right now. We're doing one that's a winter one, a winter mountain one. That's pretty fun so far. But we barely started because
Icewind Dale stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man! Cool.
Yeah.
That's some of my favorite stories took place in Icewind Dale, like the
Oh yeah, that's
the R.A.
exactly what we're
Salvatore
doing.
books, like the Drizzt Do'Urden books, and that I love those. And Icewind Dale, it's where Wolfgar's from. He's one of my favorite characters from those books.
Oh, cool.
It's basically like a Thor archetype type character. Like if your D&D character was human Thor, that's who Wolfgar is basically.
Okay.
And yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Well, what's going on right now? Like I said, Stefan's doing this one, so he wanted to do this winter one, Icedale. And the party we have here is there's like literally only one person that's taller than 4.5 feet. we have two goblins, a dwarf, and then the other person's regular size. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
But yeah, so like, and just by coincidence, so I myself, or Nathan, is actually a goblin monk that was a former wrestler. And then another one is what is Rob? Rob is a cleric, a dwarf cleric, I believe.
Oh, you got dwarves and goblins working on the same team. That seems like that used to be a thing that wouldn't even be heard of in D&D. You know,
it's very very loose so far. It's they haven't really known each other too well yet, and yeah, just because they're together doesn't mean they're getting along.
I feel like there used to be like a roll about that. Like you have to roll against like, you know, do like a saving throw against your own personal racism. You know,
okay, well, thank you.
To withstand attacking your opponent. Like I remember Warhammer, the Warhammer fantasy game had something like that built in. I had a dwarf. I played a dwarf troll slayer, and I remember being at in this one scenario. We were all in this like fancy kind of what was essentially a zoo. And all these like rich aristocrat type characters that we were trying to like investigate. And I was there as kind of like a novelty. My character was this tattooed troll slayer dwarf, and they had a troll as one of their displays, and I had to do basically a saving throw against my own rationality to prevent me from wanting to, you know, gut it with my spear as I walked by. And I failed the roll and blew the whole campaign because I decided to gut this poor troll because my character was ridiculously racist against trolls. So
was the favorite enemy rolls, right?
I can't remember exactly. That was probably 15 or 20 years ago when I did that, but I remember it well because it was so ridiculous. Like couldn't control himself. Like there's a troll, have to kill it. Have to make a saving throw because otherwise it's going to get ugly in a minute here, you know, kind of thing. It's crazy.
It's been fun so far. That was just the first time with the new game, so it's been good.
I can't remember what the setting is for the family game my husband, my kids, and I play together. It's not Icewind Dale, I don't think, but it is a frozen setting.
Oh.
It's like Rime of the Frostmaiden is the book we're working through.
Oh, yeah.
That is Icewind Dale, yeah.
That is Icewind Dale?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then, what a wonderful coincidence.
Yes.
I think that was the kind of most recent big one. They had a comic book to help launch it and everything at IDW. I ended up that was the cover that I did for D&D was to help with the came out at the same time as that game launched. Yeah.
Yep, I remember that.
Maybe I should send IDW some fantasy stuff. Ah, Jiminy Cricket.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Put my hand in the paint. We're good.
Oh, that's okay. That would have been good for the hand turkey episode.
I suppose. Not sure whether the people who want to support my work are necessarily down for me just like doing handprints. But I suppose it could be an interesting start to a picture.
Yeah, that's how it starts off usually. And you, Camillo, what you got stuff going on the side? You take parts in other groups in that, or?
I'm not in any other groups, no. Just my own personal work and stuff like that.
Are you working on a book or anything right now, man? Or mostly like commissions and stuff? Or
I actually am working on my own book.
right on.
Yeah, I want to, because like this year I'm doing GraniteCon, which will be the first time I'm out of the country for a convention.
Oh,
wow.
dude, I can't wait to meet you there.
Cool.
I can't wait to meet you there, man. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'll be there too, man.
Awesome.
Oh yeah? Oh, no kidding. Right on. No, that's gonna be a good time.
I'm gonna be there too.
What?
Yes, sir.
Wait, is it my birthday suddenly? What's going on here?
Schoolboy on good times, buddy.
Dude, that's gonna be a party.
Mr.
Oh,
X
yes.
has
It's gonna be
to
a
get a
great
passport.
Party.
Yeah, Mr. X, get your passport,
Do
man.
you know how hard it is for a guy named Mr. X to get a passport?
Well, fair enough.
What were your parents thinking? Good Lord.
I don't know.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's exciting. I was already super excited about Granite, but that's great. You guys are all going to be there. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, we granted it up, guys. Granted, we will be there.
Ooh, bonus points for him because he did a nice pun.
It was a fun. That was my first U.S. show in many, many years, and it was so awesome. It was such a good time.
You guys talk about it all the time. The Granite
man.
shows. Yeah.
Telling you.
It's a
That's the one that Rob's associated with, right?
Yeah. Rob played a pretty big role in me getting there, as did Randy and Sibo and just everyone down there. Was just so cool, and man, it was just a really good show. Like I had just come off the week before, 2 weeks before, off of the best show I had ever had at Fan Expo. It was my strongest showing in Toronto yet after all these years. I really was still riding high, and then to get to Granite a few weeks later and have that show just completely like pull the carpet out of me, from underneath me. Like I was blown away. The fandom around the Turtles stuff, that was part of what made that weekend so special. Kevin Eastman being there, obviously that didn't hurt either. And like so many Turtles legends were there that weekend. I mean, for me, one of the coolest things too was like Rich Horn had the original negatives of the first issue of TMNT, like the print negatives, like the full size sheets on light tables, and they were just there on light tables, the negatives, and I'm like walking around going, I can't even believe this. Like this is real history, man. Like this is real. Like, I mean, man, so many things spawned from these pages that were reproduced to make a comic book. Like
it's like holding an original Mickey Mouse drawing. Like,
yeah, man, it was something to behold. I'll tell you. It was really, really, really incredible.
Well, in the chats here, we got Randy MacArthur Jr. saying, can't wait to see you all there.
Randy!
He says he'll probably be sitting next to you guys.
Randy's the dude, man. He's the guy.
He's that dude, man. That whole crew, man.
Yep. Yeah, like I've been taking a couple of commission orders that I'm only taking them for Granite, and the Granite's like in October, right, or September, right? So it's a long ways away, but they're the only ones I'm really like super super focused on right now. There are a couple other shows I'm going to be going to, though. I'm excited. I'm not sure if they've been announced, although I think I'm on the website. I will be going to the Niagara Falls Comic Con.
Now, for
Right,
anybody
right,
that's
right.
not familiar with it, where is the Granite Con held?
So it's in New Hampshire. It's in Manchester, New Hampshire, and it's just an awesome. Yeah, it's a great location. It's a beautiful part of the States too, and it's a beautiful time of year because you get the leaves are starting to change and that. And it was a really nice drive down through Quebec to get there. If you're coming from the Toronto or the Ottawa area, and yeah, really really cool. Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to Niagara Falls as well, which is nice because that's a good one to get to see a lot of my American, friends and fans and whatnot, because it's right there at the border. And so I'll be seeing a lot of folks there I haven't seen in a long time. And I'm pretty excited about that.
Is that close enough that you can drive to, Mike, or do you still have to fly?
Oh, yeah, it's only like an hour and a half drive from here, but like it's very close to where my parents live. So I'll probably get a visit in with my parents and get to check out the show. And they got a crazy lineup. They got Jesse Ventura coming. They got a bunch of WWE legends. Bret Hart's going to be there. Even Tito Santana, a few guys like that. Ken Lashley will be there. Dan Parent will be there. I'm thrilled to be going back. I was actually didn't think I would be going. I thought I'd be going to the East Coast Comic Con, the East Coast Comic Expo in Moncton, which is the same weekend, and that was always the plan because they're having their return this year after COVID and everything. They're coming back. I really wanted to go, but it just logistically makes more sense for me to do Niagara Falls at that time. I do have another trip out east planned, and it's a pricey thing. The reality is it's a pricey trip to get out to the east coast of Canada, and we're hoping to do it later in August when we have the Dartmouth Comic Arts Festival, which I'm going to for the first time ever. Just a one-day show in Dartmouth and Nova Scotia, and then the week after that actually is the Freddie Beach Fan Fest, which if we're out in that direction, we'll try to stretch our trip or something so we can manage to do both shows in the same ticket if we can. But yeah, that's coming up. So I had to pass on the East Coast Expo for Niagara Falls this year, but I'll go to Moncton next year for sure and do that show because it's an excellent show. And anyone on the East Coast who's going to go to it, they're going to have an amazing time. I know there's people listening to the show right now that are probably hearing this and might be disappointed that I won't be there because they're going to be going there for sure. It's a great show out there, and I love everyone involved.
Well, for all those, now that you mentioned all those wrestling stars there, I might be hitting you up for autographs.
Yeah, I mean, I never get to meet them myself, to be honest. Usually where I'm sitting, but I'd love to meet Jesse Ventura. I'd love to talk to Brett in person. I've gotten
Brett's pretty cool to talk to.
Yeah, like I had an hour-long chat with him through the Comic-Con Africa a couple of years ago, which is something I'll never forget. Just an hour hanging out on Skype with Bret Hart. It was amazing. Just basically the two of us plus the host and just telling stories and about Jim Neidhart and stuff. And it was something I'll never, ever forget. But
I've been hanging around with Davey Boy Smith Jr. lately.
Harry, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, because he's been coming to town quite a bit with the wrestling promotion I've been working with. So
that's excellent.
Yeah, so I'm getting lots of stories in that too. So yeah, it's pretty cool. All those guys are awesome.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, that's super cool. You're getting to do that. He's a cool guy. I have a lot of respect for that young man.
Yeah, Harry's awesome. He's gonna be probably one of our guys that'll be more like sticking with the Primos wrestling, which I do now. We'll be flying him in almost every month now for a show. He's pretty good friends with the owner here. They've been wrestling together for years. So
that's great. Harry's got a lot of talent, man. It's
he sure does.
Came up in a weird time to be successful, but he's so damn good, and he's actually a legit fucking hard guy outside the ring. Like he's a tough bastard outside the ring. And
he was walking around Winnipeg with his chain, these gold chain links around his neck that were thicker than my wrists. And
I believe it.
Like nobody's going near him, man.
No, Harry's a real badass, man. He's an awesome dude too. Yeah. I miss his dad. His dad was a great athlete, a great performer.
Sure. I actually picked this up the other day. I got autographs from him last time. I was kind of taking care of him when he was in town last time, but I picked up the old LGN of his dad here. So
Oh, that's cool,
to
man.
get him
Right
to
on.
autograph it for me. So
That's rad.
yeah, he when he was in town last time, the next morning he was able to do a little training seminar with some of the crew here. So that was pretty cool too.
Oh, good.
I didn't get to take part because I had to work at the salon, but I saw some video of it, and yeah, he's amazing.
Are you doing some bumping now too to get into some storylines as well?
Yeah,
or-
a little bit. I'm not gonna be a wrestler per se. I'm just gonna have like managerial stuff, and I'm gonna do a little commentating, a little reffing, a little ring announcing. But it's
Nice.
always good to know how to take a bump. And yeah, I've taken some bumps, and I've had some limps and some bruises, and it's not something to start at 47. I'll tell you that. So
Yeah, that's a little late to start. That most guys are retired for 5 years by the time they hit
they are.
47.
But I mean, a lot of the guys that are there who are training the younger guys, they are like my age and that. And again, I'm not there to become a wrestler, just to help
Yeah.
out and promote and stuff. But it's neat to watch. It gets
That's
once you
cool,
see the
man.
training, you can just appreciate it. Like after watching you guys do art for a couple hours, like how you can appreciate it more. It's the same type of thing. So
I get it. Absolutely, man. I used to hang around with wrestlers, and I was always amazed, always just amazed at the dedication to it. I lacked the patience and physicality to really get into it at the time, but I wanted to. That was the dream. It was either be an artist or be a pro wrestler. So managed to win a championship wrestling belt with my art skills. So I guess I kind of hit some kind of
Right.
middle ground. So I'm okay with that, you know.
Mike Rooth, baby.
well, we'll have to if you guys are in town, like I know you plan to maybe be in town this year for the Winnipeg Comic Con. We'll definitely have a show that weekend, so we'll get you guys there.
I think Justin wants to come back, man. Like I'd love to do Winnipeg again. I love that show. That was a blast hanging out with you guys, and that's a very memorable weekend. I had a good time.
That was a great time.
Yeah, it was an awesome weekend, man.
I don't know. I'm really looking forward to Granite this year just because now that I know everybody's going to be there, I feel like I can actually try and get connected. Last year, I was in like the back corner of the opposite room, so nobody like.
Oh yeah.
Like the good news is I was near the bathroom, so I had a lot of foot traffic. The bad news is I was far away from everybody else, so I missed everybody.
Yeah, I remember that other room. Yeah, I wasn't sure where I was going to be at first when I got there, and I'd wander down to that, and I'd kind of that's the celebrities were in that room too, right? Like Mick Foley and those guys were they like kind of at the back, like where all the actors and stuff were of that big room?
I was on the opposite end. I was in the far back corner from the entrances, at the far back wall where the actors and signatures were happening.
Yeah.
But over on the far wall opposite from them,
Okay,
next
I
to
got
the
you.
bathrooms.
Yep.
Yeah. I was telling people it was like I pissed off a maitre d'. So
Well, you never know where you're going to get placed. It's such a huge part of it. I know that I've been a couple of times to Heroes, which I love the show, but I've had bad placement at Heroes where I've stared at a blank wall the whole weekend. I had one bad location at C2E2 as well, which was just like, whoa.
no. And it's such an investment to get to C2E2 as well.
Well, any American show is a huge investment for Canadians because our dollar doesn't go very far. So it's we're adding 30% to all the costs, which are already very high. So, it's tough to do US shows for sure. It really is. But yeah, that can be a huge thing. I mean, I remember going to Heroes one year, really like had a bunch of new stuff out, was just starting to get some cover work, and went down there with probably 150 pounds of gear to sell and to move. And I came home with 149 pounds of gear, limped back to Canada basically with my tail between my legs. Just bad location and just, bad luck, for the weekend, but still an amazing time and still an amazing show. Yeah, it can be a big part of it. That's something that you can't really control, unfortunately.
Yeah, I wish it were possible. I wish you could I don't know. But then if there's any way that control is exerted, then it's possible for things to be made unfair in a totally different way. So
yeah, I like with the Reed Pop shows, at least if you say, I want to sit next to Kelly Williams, they can be like, oh yeah, we'll try to make that happen for you. And, they can do stuff like that. I've done that before at shows. I've gotten to sit next to Ben Templesmith because he requested that I sit next to him, and so I've had some cool shows like that where that's happened. But my first couple of years, not really knowing anyone, and just kind of going out there in the wild, and I've been lucky too. I mean, I had my first time in New York Comic Con. I had traveled by myself down there, and it was I ended up sitting right next to Rick Leonardi all weekend long.
Ooh.
Watching the guy just blast out 15,000 drawings of Spider-Man 2099 just blew my head apart, and got a lot of exposure just being this weird lone Canadian guy sitting there with my banner and my my one portfolio of prints or whatever on my desk. But yeah, just total luck of the draw to get that spot.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Hugh? Where else are you going this year besides Granite? Do you know so far? Maybe, like say, maybe
I'm gonna
Winnipeg
be in
Con.
Vancouver in the next couple of weeks. Going to be in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be at Toronto, right, Mike?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
So I'll see Mike at Toronto, and then Calgary. I'll catch you guys in Winnipeg, that's for sure.
Cool. Oh, speaking of which, Ashley and Bobby from 204 say hello to both Mike and Hugh.
Hey,
hey.
I heard from one of your customers today, Ashley and Bobby. They want to print. I think one of my Ben Grimm prints. Something you guys did, so that was really cool. They seemed really happy about that. So
oh, that's cool. I'll let them know that.
Appreciate you guys to hear from them, and hope you guys are doing well.
They are doing very well.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, Winnipeg is always a good time.
Yeah, man, that was a great
down
time.
there is just amazing.
Yeah, that was a good time. I enjoyed my meeting you guys, and yeah, it was just good. It was good to.
Baby.
It was weird because much like through the channel here and that, it's been meeting all these people and that, but not actually meeting them in person, and then you spend 36 hours out of a 48-hour weekend type of thing, and with them, and you get to know each other all pretty well fast.
Oh yeah, man. That's for sure. That was just a great time. I don't know if they've announced it yet, but I'm hoping to do some of the affiliated shows with the company that does Cape Flow, that does Winnipeg and Montreal and Ottawa.
Nice.
Hoping to make that happen. It's been a long time since I've been to their shows. I was amazed, actually. I was going through my phone, my handheld time machine, to see how the last time when I was in Ottawa or the last time I was in Montreal and at those shows, and it's been a long time. So I'm hoping to remedy that this year.
Nice. And you, Casey, you said you're going to Granite. What about anything else? You sticking mostly on your side of the border?
This year I have told myself I'm not going anywhere except Granite until I get all of my commissions cleared out, because I have had a couple of years of all kinds of stuff going on, and it's not fair to anybody who's been waiting that I do new stuff until I get that cleared out. And I'm not going to let a couple of bad years stop me from proceeding, So I figure after Granite, I'll be starting with a clean slate, and that's going to be a good feeling.
For sure.
But
like
I don't know. Everybody's got dreams of things, I've got I've got 3 comics ideas that I still don't feel like I'm good enough to make myself. I figure I might as well just start in the expectation that nobody ever feels ready.
That's it.
That's right. That's right.
Do it.
People will always ask you, like, how do I break into
How
comics?
much time do we have left?
We go about another hour plus.
Okay, I'm gonna kick out another one if anyone has any ideas.
Sure.
Should I bring back my list for you? God damn, you're fast.
I'll let the crowd just
Hey,
decide.
since we were talking about time machines and that, why don't you do Muppets Time Bandits?
Holy shit, that's a deep cut.
Yeah.
So there he is. Muppet is.
Nice.
Mr. Eagle is.
Texas. Nice.
Very, very nice.
Looks good.
So sorry, what was the next one you said?
I said if we were talking time machines, you should do Muppets Time Bandits, like the movie, but I was just kidding.
Here's my list of things I remember from the 90s.
Oh yes, I'll put that on the big screen,
I
and then everybody can see that.
read
And
it.
again, people in the chats, feel free to throw out some suggestions for Hugh.
Have you got any more of those spawn blanks, Hugh?
Pardon me?
Have you got any more of those spawn blanks?
Fuck, guy, I didn't realize how many I bought. You need some?
No, I was just wondering because I had an idea for one that I was going to do today. I have a spawn blank that I was going to do. I have a different plan, but as I was doing that one, I got an idea for another one that you could do. You could do Pepe the prawn as Sprawn.
Oh my god.
Definitely would like
sounds
that.
funny.
And since he's not hosting the show tonight, he could actually bid on that. So.
Yeah, I just dropped another Spawn cover today. I did the,
Oh yeah.
I
did
saw that one was
Spawn
great.
with Etrigan.
Yeah, with the
Yes,
demon,
I saw that, man. It was awesome.
demon battle.
Yeah.
It's actually
That'd
the
be a
first time I ever
crazy
see that character. He's actually pretty cool, man.
Oh, Etrigan's
Etrigan?
so fun to
Yeah.
draw, man.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love how he talks in rhyme.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Camillo, that Ghostbuster is looking awesome, man.
Oh, thanks, dude.
You guys are all murdering it, man.
Yep, everyone's doing a bang up job. I will take a second here just to again mention the Things Are Getting Sketchy Volume 3 Kickstarter that is going on. It was funded, I think it was funded the very first night it got announced. I could be wrong, but I think it was. And then, so we've got quite a few of the goals reached here. There's always more to come. I believe the last tier was just announced with Hugh. You did a coaster, did you not?
I just did a Ghost Rider
Ghost
one.
Rider one, yeah.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, so that's up there available now too as a tier. So yeah, if you haven't joined, please do. We got a little bit of time left, and if you have joined, join a little bit more, and you'll get something special. I myself, I always forget. I tell everybody else to do it, and I have yet to sign up. But I will after the show here today, because again, I love these books. I quite often instead of reading a comic, I'll just grab one of these collections and just flip through it, because again, there's been so much art that is amazing that gets done on these shows that are just you'll never see anywhere else, just because they are so creative, like with the mashups and the themes that everybody has come up with. So especially the coasters. I mean, I love coaster night. I tell people about coaster night all the time. So.
Oh yeah, it's a good time, man.
Coaster Night's
I
my
can't wait
favorite
for
night.
my first coaster night. I don't know when it's going to be, if ever,
I don't know. There
I
hasn't
even
been
bought
as many
coasters
this year, so
I could practice.
it's you got to make sure you got the right coasters. I know there has been some issues before where people have tried using the not proper coaster on air, and it's been a little
I
rough
used the
to
link
work with.
Stefan gave me, so
Oh, that's the
they
perfect ones then. Yeah,
Yeah, the paper ones are good. Some of the ones that are printed on like the more
too absorbent.
like foamy materials or whatever, they don't really, you can't really draw into them that well. Even if they're white, you get a lot of bleed happening because you're drawing into fibers that aren't really stable. So it's it's tricky for sure. But yeah, the paper ones are great. The ones I like are about, I think they're 2.5 or 3 millimeters thick. They're nice and thick. These ones here are a little bit more. They're a little bit more thin. These are the big country ones. This is just one that I have around, but it's only like, I think 1 millimeter thick. Maybe this is 2 and mine are 4. Mine are at least twice as thick as these though. Anyway, and I find them much better. I just found them on, I think it was Etsy or something like that. A lady had a store where she was selling craft products like that. But yeah, they're great fun to draw on. They're really absorbent and stuff. And yeah.
Oh, Hugh, did you decide on something? Because if not, there was
Yeah,
a
I'm going to
suggestion.
do Pepe.
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm
right.
so
I
sorry.
forgot. Yeah, that's cool.
Braun?
Yeah, that's wrong.
I'm so
Well,
sorry, guys. I just realized, did I forget to mute when I turned on the heater? I'm so sorry.
no, everything's fine. I
No.
didn't hear no issues.
That's unacceptable.
That's okay. It's being winter in Canada. We know
I'm
the windows
upset.
aren't open, so there's no motorcycles driving by every once in a while
That's
blasting
true.
it out. So.
Yeah, those days are coming.
So we're at 7:45 my time, so we still got a little bit more than an hour left. If everybody wants, I will throw up the starting video for a couple seconds, and everybody can take a break. I'm gonna refresh my drink and refresh my mask and that, and we will see everybody in just a couple minutes. Please feel free to comment in the comments while we are gone, and we'll get back to you in just a few minutes. See you soon, everybody. Okay, Ray, we're back. I have taken off my mask to reveal the identity. It is I, Nathan. I was the Mr. X all around. I'm sure I had many of you confused and convinced it wasn't me, but that's because I'm such a good actor.
You cannot defeat Nathan as long as he wears the mask of Vulcan.
That's
That's
right.
right. I actually
Yeah.
made a Mask of Vulcan costume for Halloween last year.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty easy
The
actually because I
Mask
had big
of
ice cream
Vulcan.
buckets at home, so it's easy to make the mask.
The Mask of Vulcan. Love that.
Yeah. It was a little hard to breathe, but it was okay.
I got my Hercules ring right here.
I got that too, actually.
Yeah.
Mine's over there. That's from Martin.
From our friend Martin, yes.
Yeah. Martin Duncan, not related to me. That Ralph is looking pretty sweet.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. The pencil crayons aren't going on quite as strongly as I hoped in some places, but we'll see what I can do. I'll work it out.
That's good.
If it helps, I have found that your basic spray workable fixative can work with those. You just have to be careful because if you put on more than like one layer, it's going to start flaking off.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just the I may for some of the strong whites and things like that, I may just go in with paint. But it's the dog fur texture. I was hoping to get a little bit better results with the pencil crayons, but I'm not. So I'll figure out something. But yeah, it's these sometimes these black covers end up being kind of sketchy. unless you really want to just go full bore into it with like the paint. Like the Things Are Getting Sketchy Volume 2 black ones were really tough to draw on, actually. Really a challenge. Really repellent surface. I ended up doing this Hulk, which I basically used this is a green one. This was a green cover, so it's mostly just the green cover that is the Hulk. And I just went in with some a little bit of acrylic paint and some built up layers with pencil crayons, and then finish it off with acrylic paint because this is a super repellent surface, even worse probably than the
Dynamite.
Actually, probably worse than the glossy Last Ronins, actually.
Oh, right.
Which were legit glossy, like which were basically like trying to, draw on a window. Pretty glossy. But yeah. But I think the new colored blanks are going to be slightly different. It might be close to the ones we had for Volume 1. I might be wrong on that. I don't know. But some of the colors just seem to have a bit more resistance to to different mediums. Again, paint defeats everything. But I don't know if I feel like busting out the paint for this Venom one tonight. So we'll see. I got a couple of paint markers I might just kind of add some touch-ups with and call it a day.
I know, man. That looks pretty awesome as it is. So I don't know how you could see fault in that, but that's what artists do.
It is what artists do. Yeah. I'll just get more aggressive with some of the higher contrast colors and see. I might pull the illusion off yet. We'll see.
I believe in you, man.
I was gonna do Bobo the Bear as Dodge. Literally just put Bobo the Bear dressed as Dodge because it was just he's already a bear. Yeah, like a bear man. So it actually just it was almost too on the nose, but it would make it pretty funny. And I was just trying to think of the other characters who I would cast. Danny Harrow was saying Miss Piggy as Lady Ironwrath, which is probably a good fit. And he thought maybe the chicken as Camilla the chicken as the witch from Dodge. But I don't know. We'll see.
Camilla the chicken is low-key one of my favorite Muppets.
Oh, she's amazing. Yeah.
I like those. They were in Sesame Street too, but those aliens that just are basically a bunch of wool that go, yep.
Yep.
Those are awesome.
They were awesome, man.
And they were actually even around before the Muppets, and that they were on like some kind of skit show eventually, where the Muppets were first formed.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of crossover with Sesame Street, which I love too. Like the coaster that I did for our Kickstarter is the Guy Smiley Conan, but that Guy Smiley is really a Sesame Street character, right? So
yeah, it's all Muppets.
Yeah, they're all Muppets though.
All Jim Henson creations.
Yeah. Might do Clifford as the Punisher, or as the Predator next time. That was one of Stefan's ideas.
Like Clifford the Red Dog.
No, Clifford the Muppet, the guy who was the host of the host of the new Muppet show that came out. Yeah, which I actually liked. I thought that was actually a good fun, man. That one.
Gotta do something where you can incorporate Snuffle up, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought about a Venomized Snuffy to follow up on the the swamp
man
thing that I did last time.
Yeah.
So many crickets.
Oh, there's my brush. Whew. My other idea is on a regular sketch cover. It's actually on one of the Spawn sketch covers also. So maybe I'll get to it. Finish this guy off and jump on that one next.
They actually have a pretty cool ASM 129 blank exclusive out right now, but nobody wants to pay $30 for a blank and then have to use it for an artist, stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Cheap link's all right, but who wants to pay $30 for a blank just because it's
yeah.
an
That's
exclusive?
a lot, man. Holy
Yeah.
moly!
And how can you have a blank as an exclusive? Like, that's like
Hubris. Gonna go with hubris.
Yeah. That is a weird call for sure. It's a strange market, man. I'm super excited because we got an awesome guest artist doing a variant cover for us for Dodge issue 4, and
Ooh.
it was actually supposed to be the cover for Dodge issue 3, like the variant cover, but he didn't get it to us in time for the Kickstarter before the Kickstarter ended, and we were hoping that he would. So we decided instead to use it for issue 4 because the image is actually a better fit for the story. But I'm really excited about it, and he's actually going to be on an upcoming episode of Tags.
Who's that?
So, I don't know if I want to say because we haven't revealed it yet. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it.
Is it somebody I know?
I don't think you know him. So, yeah, it's
okay.
going to be one of the new faces that shows up on Tags.
Oh, okay.
But it'll be part of our promotional machine when we're ready to get the Kickstarter rolling for Dodge issue 4. So,
okay. I thought it was maybe somebody that we both know that lives around here, but not too close to me.
No. The one that I'm hoping to get as well is from Maria. I'm hoping I can get
Maria, yeah.
her as well. Wolf Maria. I sent her some issues of Dodge to read in advance. See if she can do something for me, but I know she's real busy these days. So
her 1 in 100 Blade cover this week was amazing.
Oh, everything she does is amazing. Yeah,
Blade and his daughter Bloodline.
Oh, cool. I don't know that character.
She's new. She just came out this summer. This is her first solo stuff.
Oh, cool.
She's the actual daughter of Blade.
Neat.
Yeah.
Taking a moment and skimming through all the comments.
We got quite a few now.
Yeah, there's a lively conversation happening, so that's good.
I got someone that says I look like celebrity. I taking my mask off here, Robin. A cooler version of Tim Robinson. I'm not sure who Tim Robinson is, but yeah, I'll take it as a compliment. I know my amazing acting skills are have thrown so many of you guys off. So. My friend that I've been working with, who has the wrestling promotion, has a store in town, so he needed some help around his store because he was going on vacation. So I said I'd help him out a little bit. So I picked up a couple of those luchador wrestling masks. They're pretty fun just to wear, I gotta admit.
I want to get that Marc Andre guy to make me a mask. He's been making all the masks for a lot of the TV wrestling stuff lately.
Oh yeah,
and he makes a lot of pro wrestlers masks. And I've had a character in development for a very, very long time that I'd love to actually get a mask made. I don't know if you could make it. It's essentially like a lucha mask, leaning more towards a Japanese aesthetic, but I think it's something that this guy can make for me. And then, yeah, I would totally wear it at my desk like a weirdo.
Go for it, man. I'm loving Sprawn already.
Yeah.
See? Man, Rob's not being very nice to me tonight in the comments.
No.
No, he told me I should save my acting skills for D&D night. But these guys are all just jealous because they don't take the initiative to do it. So.
Initiative. I hear what you did there.
Yeah, play on words. I love puns. Yeah, I highly encourage anybody who is free on Monday evening at 6:30 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern to check out the Things Are Getting Dicey. It's actually quite a bit of fun. It's so funny.
One day I'll join you guys.
Yeah, you can join in. No, it won't be a problem. It's it's
One
easy
day.
just to whip a character together and throw them in there. It's so funny. It is a lot of fun. And I guess you don't have to watch it on Monday at that time too. We do stream it on again on the Things Are Getting Dicey page and on the Matt Daddy page. So
I'm getting invited to a lot of cool role-playing game things lately, and I wish I could commit to them because I do miss playing, but it's
Did
so
you get
hard.
hit up with that TMNT one, Mike?
Yeah, I haven't joined that one yet. That's another one that Doug runs there.
Yeah,
I'd love to.
Doug is hitting me up.
I'd love to get involved
I
in that
just
one too.
don't have the time right now.
Yeah, I know it's always a weird thing, like to kind of.
I feel
You
bad. I
gotta
don't
make
want
time
him to
for
think
it, you
that
know.
I don't want him to think that,
no, I get you guys too.
I'm
It's tough.
not thing. It's just one of those things. It's just
Yeah.
it's crazy right now.
Yeah. Something else I can use here. Let's see. Yeah, give that a try. Yeah. Nothing at all.
You guys looking forward to the Quantum Mania movie, the Ant-Man movie coming out in a week or so?
Should be fun.
Yeah, man, I've enjoyed the Ant-Man movies for the most part. Of all the Marvel stuff, I'm not really a huge fan of any of it, but I haven't hated the Ant-Man movies as much as I've hated the other things.
Oh,
It's
Yeah. All Red's always awesome and everything. So
yeah, I'm hoping they're going to use it as a way to bridge in maybe the FF in some way. I think that'd be really cool. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it'd be really cool if it did.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking that, or maybe the Micronauts somehow, even though they can't call them the
Yeah, the
Micronauts.
Micronauts. That would be
That'd be neat. Yeah,
But they can't call them the Micronauts because that's Hasbro. So but they can, they can still use. That's why they don't call it the Microverse. They call it the Quantumverse.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why. But they can still use things that came out of there. Like they can't use like some of the Micronauts characters, but they can use some of them because they were created by Marvel. So like, they can use Captain Universe. What's that one guy's name? Is it Bug? No, not Bug. The guy that was like looked like Bug.
Yeah, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just kind of hit and miss. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate when those toy licenses get wrapped up. Like ROM is probably the greatest tragedy of all because ROM was a fantastic comic book.
And that's the same thing. He's part of that Hasbro thing as well too.
Yeah.
But all those things were bought, and Hasbro's supposed to be putting out like a entertainment universe with all those characters connected, with like Mask in there as well too. But
that was going to happen at IDW, but they couldn't get all their shit together because it's a lot It's a lot to match some of those worlds up and have it make any kind of sense, right? So
sure, and I think they even had like Robotech in there as well. Like they had everything. Action Man, yeah.
I think it would have been funny if they did one of those mashups and actually had all the characters to the scale that they were as toys. So like nothing matched, like like people would be walking around bigger, way like the G.I. Joes would be like a good foot and a half taller than all the guys from Mask, but all the guys from the Visionaries would be like a good 3 feet taller than the G.I. Joes, and it would just be this crazy. No one would be able to fit in each other's vehicles.
There's actually a PlayStation game or an Xbox game called Toy Soldiers. It's like that.
Oh yeah.
Where you play with like a toy box full of your toys, and you play army men with those size things. I'm a sucker for He-Mans and stuff like that. It's just
Oh, yeah.
That's how the action figures should look, right? I've been picking up these ones lately. They're kind of like the old retro wrestler ones. It's I gotta put myself on screen here. Guys like the old LGN ones.
Oh, yeah.
This one's a Papa Shango one. That's pretty
good
cool.
fun, man.
Yeah. I know Stefan's got the Macho Man one. I don't have that, but I do have this one, which I know he's jealous of, is the Honky Tonk Man.
Nice. Yeah, I got a whole bag of original wrestlers over here, and yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Stuff
Yeah,
piles
that's
up.
cool. The store I work at, Primo's, where my friend has there, he has all that stuff in cases, and people still come in there and buy it. It's amazing. And
Oh, yeah.
this one here too is a nice one, the $1 Million Man with his money tuxedo. So
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
and Casey, that's why I'm broke always. So.
Fair. I mean, if you're going to be a broke, might as well be for a good reason, right?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. I think Ralph is just about done here. Ralph.
Now, if you had to guess, what breed of dog is Ralph?
He's a mutt.
Some kind of setter of some kind. I'm
Yeah.
going to say like not an Irish setter, but something like that maybe. Or maybe like a Cocker Spaniel.
I was thinking more like Cocker Spaniel because
Yeah, maybe it's a Cocker Spaniel.
Doesn't have any of the markings though, so
No, he's just kind of brown.
but child of many fathers situation.
Do you guys know what next week's show is? Theme wise?
Next week's show, I'm not on next week's show. I was going to be on it, but I believe it's the second amalgam night.
Oh yes, I believe you're right.
Yeah, and we'll have someone new on the show we haven't had on the show yet. You guys will get to meet him. I wish I could be on it. He's an old friend of mine. But me not being on the show meant that he would be able to be on the show, so that worked out okay. But
That's how
I'll
Casey got
I'll
on
get him on
tonight.
there.
So somebody else's loss is argument.
Yeah, it happens.
I keep popping back over to Camillo's drawing there because his colors are just amazing.
Aren't they?
Yeah. That's just all pencil crayons, eh?
It's all Copic markers and pencils and yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, it makes me. All the stuff I got as a kid, pencil crayons and crayons and stuff, they must have been broken in that because they didn't work like that.
Hmm.
I always couldn't wait for that day. You know, the best part of
School, the beginning of
when
school.
you get the new Laurentian pencil crayons. If you're able to get the Laurentian ones, they were nice.
Mhm.
Didn't always get those. Sometimes I got the cheaper ones, but yeah.
Oh, that's the pack that had the log cabin on it and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one.
They were good. They were decent quality for students, for sure.
I do remember that one. It just took me a while to. I never heard it pronounced before the name, so.
The packaging is pretty nostalgic. It's like those maple syrup cans, you know.
Yes,
that you
for
get in
sure.
Quebec.
For sure. You tied in well to my Red Barn story, or fact.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I don't have any water. That seems like a weird thing to not have. Speaking of maple syrup cans, I got to use my ancient and venerable maple syrup can for my water, which is
Oh, I've seen those. They sell those for super expensive nowadays.
really.
Well, with more syrup in them, but.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Mike was all excited for a second there. Yes, we said cans of maple syrup, Rob.
I was just delighted for a second because, like, I thought you meant that it was like, people calling it like trendy, like, oh, I've got the vintage can. And no, I was just delighted. It's just, nope, we like the syrup.
It's that vintage stuff it sells, man. Nostalgia is the biggest selling point ever.
It is. It's a very big one for sure. They still make that syrup in those cans, though. They still do. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, like I see them there's a store at the mall I work. It's called O Canada.
Yeah.
And it has like Canadian themed stuff like that. Yeah, and they have that stuff there for sure.
Yeah. It's a pretty expensive commodity, actually. Real maple
syrup is, yeah.
And the reason for that is there was a massive robbery. It's famously probably the greatest, most valuable heist of all time in Canadian history, and it was literally a gigantic robbery of maple syrup. And
I saw that, and there's actually like a big black market thing too nowadays, where it's like you have to have a certain percentage in there. Oh, yeah. It's almost like champagne and not champagne, and that it's pretty crazy.
It's very, very hoity-toity. Yes.
Yeah, and there's like people who have like died over it because they've had fights about it and stuff like that, and been wiped out. It's mafia.
I'm sure the mobs are all tied to it, man. Absolutely, yeah. It's more valuable than gold. Well, it's probably not more valuable than gold, but
it depends on the day.
Depends on the day, I guess. Yeah. I might actually do that.
Man, everybody's work is just amazing tonight.
Aw.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, everyone's colors are just popping.
You're so sweet. You should come back all the time and just
I'm here most of the time, usually just in the comments. I think I've had Hugh on my show before. I've had Mike on. I'll have to get AC and Camillo on my show at some point too.
Sure, for sure.
So you've been asking us to plug our stuff. Tell us about your show.
My show, well, Not Daddy, as Hugh's mentioned a couple times, is a comic book exclusive company. So we've had a few comics coming over the last couple of years. Hugh's doing a couple covers. Michael Berglund's done a couple of covers for us. So, and that's how I actually met Hugh and Mike, was through Justin, who does a lot of the exclusive work with Mike and Hugh as well, through Big Country, and we all just kind of got together. And then I started watching tags. Then I started doing reviews, just weekly comic book reviews and that on my show. And then I started having more of these guys on, and now I branched out into the wrestling a little bit, just because it's a hobby I like. And I started doing the wrestling stuff just to kind of build the Nat Daddy name, and yeah, it just kind of went from there. Lots of fun. Nat Daddy now is more of a platform just of introducing as much stuff as possible, especially new artists and stuff. And yeah, I still like selling my exclusive as well too, but I like helping everybody else too. I just like I'm a knowledgeable type of guy. I like to know as much about things as possible, and especially things that I like, and which is the last couple of years I realized you gotta do stuff you like, man. Life's too short. So
damn right.
That's it.
Yeah.
And not to be afraid to try stuff just because people think you're silly. Especially with you guys, I'm sure you can associate, a lot of times it's like people say, oh, what do you do? I'm a comic book artist. And they probably look at you silly sometimes in that. But or me, trying out this wrestling stuff, or I tell people at work I'm a hairdresser, and they're, oh, what's this poster you have here? I'm like, oh, I saw comic books on the side, and they kind of look at you a little weird at first, right? So, but
no, I get it, man.
you gotta rock with what you do, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for that, I would have met any of you fine people, or Stefan, or Justin for sure.
You never know what path it's going to take you. It's never a straight line. I was having this conversation with a friend the other day, and I realized, like, we were talking about what it's like to work at a job when you're in between contracts and you're not sure when they're going to sign your paper contract, but they've just kept things rolling, and you're still at the job, and you're still going in every day, you're still doing the work, but you're actually not working with a contract because no one will take the 5 minutes to sit down with you and actually get the contract hashed out, and how stressful that can be because you're basically always waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I did that for a children's book company. I had a 1-year contract with them, and then when that contract was up, the anniversary of it being up, basically every anniversary, I would be really nervous and wonder if I was going to still have a job. And they would always just say, oh, yeah, we're going to keep things the same and just keep things rolling the way they were. But they would never back it with any paper. And anyway, it's a super weird thing to experience when you're lucky enough to have a cool job like that, but it could end any day. And then sure enough, it was literally, they called me on a Wednesday and said, your Friday's your last day, and that was it. I had no warning. There was no plan in place. It was just the job just ended after 4 years, right?
Yeah.
So it's if that hadn't happened to me, I was devastated when it happened because it was a good gig. I was doing work that I liked. I was getting a full-time gig as an illustrator. I mean, it's the dream job. But it was tough, and when it ended, it was like someone had just completely destroyed my whole planet. And I was 35, and I had already been doing this for a long time, and really felt like it was kind of the end of my career. And so I just said, well, I should just actually finally take the moment to take this opportunity, this bad news, and try to spin it around and try to do something good with it. And it was at that moment that I, with only made possible by the support of my wife Erica, was I able to do a transition into just going after comics as a profession and as a life. And if I hadn't had that job suddenly end and had my whole life plunged into homelessness and chaos, I would never have decided to go on the path to seek out doing this kind of work and going towards comic books. And I never would have met Hugh or any of you guys if that was the case. So, it's never a straight line when that's all I'm trying to say, when you're on whatever path you're on. And, the fact that you're getting involved with wrestling and stuff right now, I think that's so fantastic. I always think about how I wish to this day I could be involved with that sport in some way. I love the art form of it, the entertainment aspect of it. I love all of that. And I think about Andy Belanger, who decided at age like 32 or 35 to become a pro wrestler, so we could do a comic book about pro wrestling.
Yeah,
and actually have an authentic standpoint to write the story and tell the story from, which I think is amazing.
Hardcore.
That's amazing,
Well, and to relate with to your story as well, Mike, I started all this stuff just before and when COVID started, and because I couldn't work being a hairdresser for like months at a time, they'd close the doors. I didn't know what to do, so I started fooling around with this stuff with more encouragement from you guys, a little trial and error. That's how I paid the mortgage for quite a bit of the time, was selling comics. So yeah. I mean, the market has dropped a little bit now. We've all felt it in that, but it will bounce up again. But it has all helped us out in one way or another, and we didn't think it would at one point. So
yeah, I don't know. When it comes to people taking it seriously, though, it's like I feel like anybody who is too dignified to enjoy things is just cheating themselves.
Sure.
Which is not nearly as profound as the life experiences and advice that you've been sharing.
No, I think it is. I mean, it's a It's a tough business.
Well, look at it this way: it's like, would you rather be happy and poor, which most people are nowadays, or wealthier and still miserable?
Well, I'll be honest with you. For me, the dream has always been to work for Marvel. Has always been to have regular gigs. It's more of a childhood dream that I dare to wonder if it could come true. I mean, I got to do a thing for Swamp Thing, like through the luck and fortune of knowing Justin Steves and making that happen. Big Country Comics, so that was something I never thought would happen, and so I still hold on to the notion that I would love to do some stuff for Marvel one day. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that may never happen, and the other reality is a lot of people I know who work at Marvel in any capacity are fucking miserable working there.
Right.
And aren't respected, aren't treated well, and really don't have a lot of nice things to say about the actual doing. They love doing the work, but everything around the work is really tough, and then the lack of respect shown, and all the, I don't want to cite specific examples, but I've heard some real horror stories that are really unfair. The kind of thing that you'd expect from small publishers or from just literal criminals. You'd expect, you wouldn't expect people to treat artists that way, but they do. And so sometimes it's not always greener on the other side of the fence, is what I'm saying, I guess. And I still hold on to the dream, but it's more of like a quest. And let me find out for myself what my experience will be with it. But I've heard the experience isn't necessarily all it's cracked up to be, or what you might have dreamed it would be when you were a kid.
I don't know. I feel like anybody who's making any comics at all is lapping me. It's like, what they say, if you're walking, you're still faster than anybody sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
So, I feel like
to be a comic artist, to me nowadays, especially to be a comic artist or to call yourself a comic artist, you don't have to have your art published in a comic book. You can just do that style, and as long as you sell it, or someone buys it or appreciates it, then you've succeeded.
That's it.
I feel like that's a generous interpretation, but it's not one that I can hold myself to.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I would consider myself a working artist at this point, but I'm not a comic artist because I haven't worked in comic books.
Okay, so you have that definition, then okay.
Yeah, I don't mean that I need to work for Marvel and follow that dream, or even that I need to come up with like a creator-owned book that's my own perfect situation. But until I actually am putting out pages,
it's published,
then I can't call myself a comic book artist, no matter how many pinups I draw, no matter how much fan art I churn out, no matter what I paint. I got to actually do the work to take the credit.
So my question to you right now is, would you rather right now be, I'm sure you're not comfortable, you said, but would you rather take on the point right now of just doing something like a cover? Or do you feel that you would rather be just doing some inking inside or just doing penciling inside? What do you feel you'd like to start off with?
Well, I'm trying to learn to pencil pages. It's difficult stuff, as you all know. And I find that people think that when I feel a penciled page is done, people ask me about inking. So I don't know whether I'm putting too much in. So I've got a lot to learn in that respect. I may be trying too hard. But where am I going with this? I would like to do covers. I would like to do internals. I don't know whether I don't have a lot of experience with the piecemeal part of it, right? Because comic books, you've got all of the steps cut up amongst people working on it, and that feels alien to me. I'm used to starting with the blank page and ending with a work,
Well, this is the group that can tell you that.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said this is the group that could tell you more information about that process.
Yeah, absolutely. Please, by all means.
Well, I mean, Kelly posted a great thing the other day on his Facebook, which, I think I may have shared it. I should share it if I haven't. But it's that idea that, like, the only way to break into comics is just to make comics. Don't worry about what role you're going to play. Don't worry about where you're going to land. I hear a lot of young artists will come to my table and say, like, if Marvel and DC doesn't like my stuff, I'll probably just land at Image one day, or I'll land at Dark Horse. And I look at them and I think, What planet are you on, man? You don't land in a place. You climb to a place. You achieve a thing. You make a connection. You know what I mean? You make a thing that people want to fucking produce and publish every
This
month.
is something a young person said to you? No, shocking.
It's just amazing to me, the kind of like idea that it's just expected that they're going to end up at one of the big two. But if not, landing at Image will be okay. That tells me that person has no idea how any of these places work, how any of the operation of the comics works. You know, you want to get into comics, make some comics. Whether you're lettering them yourself or hiring a letterer, whether you just have a story you want to tell and you can't draw for shit and you want to get someone to draw those comics for you, you know, whatever the case is, whatever story is within you, whatever role you want to play, if you have a story to tell, the way to break into comics is to make comics. And don't worry about making some great, you know, world-changing, head-turning epic that's going to, you know, shatter the foundations of the industry on your first time at bat. Just make something and then make something else and then keep on making stuff until you have a bunch of stuff that you made. You know, don't make them huge, don't make them gigantic, just make them bite-sized that you can manage. And if you feel like you want to manage the lettering and storytelling and all of that stuff yourself, then by all means do it, because all those things are skills that are wonderful things to have in your arsenal as an artist. I know guys like Sam Agro and Ty Templeton who've been doing it in the old school way for so long that they can literally do any part that makes a comic book. You can give them the role of letterer, they can letter the book. You could give them the role of, you know, whatever portion of the job you need to cut their direction, they can do it because they've had to do all their own comics at some point and playing all of those roles. So, you know, I would never think that I could letter a comic book. I would never even try. It would be crazy. Yet when I write things in, you know, my capital block letter style that I write in, people go, oh, that would look cool. But I feel like I'm the only person that can read it. You know what I mean? So I have issues around, like, you know, doing the lettering in that part of the comic. I'd rather just do the drawing myself. But there's people out there that want to have the control of all those things. And I say, if you're one of those people, just do all those things and make those comics, you know?
Well, there's a kid locally in town here in Winnipeg. He's 19. He goes by Silent T. And he's put out 2 comics all on his own. He's done it all himself and, you know, printed it all out himself and that. Or I guess he's paid to get printed. And they're awesome. I've reviewed them on the show a couple of times. And it's all his own artwork, all his own lettering. And it's different stuff. But that's what's cool about it. It is different, you know. And again, you know, you probably want to get picked up by somewhere at first because it is so different. But that's what I do the show for, is to show the independent stuff. You know, that's where the creative stuff comes in.
Well, the wonderful thing about the independent stuff is you never know what kind of combinations you're going to end up with. Like, this may sound crazy to some of you, but like, I've been working on Dodge since 2018, and I've never met Matt Nixon in person. Right. We've never even talked on the phone, man. We have done everything for 5 years via email and via text message, and we've made this whole universe.
What if in the end he wasn't even a real person, you found out?
Right? I've just been dealing with some kind of AI in Kentucky all this time. But no, it's kind of an amazing thing, and that's the beautiful part about working in independent comics, especially going to a place like Granite, you know, or some of these shows and meeting other like-minded people. You just never know who you're going to connect with. I mean, I think about, like, I'll be honest, I've been super inspired. I don't want to embarrass the guy if he's watching the show, but I've been super inspired by Danny Harrell lately because he's been writing cool stories. He's written one that he and I might tackle later on down the road, but he's doing this Rebel Girls?
Rebel Girls, yeah, that looks really good.
And he's already, like, he found an artist he bounced the script off of. The artist loved the script. The artist started drawing pages. He's got something like 7 or 8 pages already done. He's got the pages already colored himself. They've been sent off to the letterer to handle. The guy's making a fucking comic book. He just decided it was going to happen, and he just started putting the machine in place, and now it's just happening on its own. It's got this this almost automated life of its own right now.
Well, he was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he is right now, but he was in the chat earlier, and I'm sure you appreciate that you said that. I saw some of that work earlier this week too, and it's looking great.
Yeah, man. He just showed me some of the cover art that he's getting done. I don't want to spoil who's doing it, but it's fucking sensational. And it's only in its preliminary stages. And I'm like, this is going to be a really cool book. Like, I mean, I don't know where he plans to take it or what he wants to do with it, but the bits that I've read and the stuff that I've seen his artists produce have been out of control. And it's just been happening like all this has come together in the last 3-4 weeks. I literally took me 3 days to pencil one page the other day. Like I'm watching that again, like Danny's constantly showing me pages this artist is handing in, inked, finished pages, boom, 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 and I'm still penciling panel 3, going, "What the fuck's wrong?" So I never call myself a comic book artist because I'm an illustrator, and comic books take a long fucking time. And I think if you're going to call yourself a comic book artist, I think you can do that when you're, when you're paying for your life as a comic book artist. You know what I mean? I think you get to have that moniker then, or if it's the primary bulk of all of your work. But I'm an illustrator, and I would love to just do covers from here to eternity. And I love drawing stories. Don't get me wrong, but it's a whole other set of muscles to work, and it's not something that comes very easily to me or very quickly to me. So I would never be able to do a monthly book for Marvel, say, because that would just be outside of what I could actually produce. I could knock out 6 covers for them though, no problem. But
the fearful thing to me is that going independent, you have to do all the promotion, and I am terrible at remembering to post things. I am terrible at scheduling because if I was going to pay, like, I can call myself a comic book artist when I'm, supporting myself with it. Never going to happen. I'm the health insurance for our family.
I shouldn't have qualified it like that exactly, but it's just there's a lot of people out there who just do pinups and call themselves comic book artists. And that's the only distinction I was trying to make. Yeah,
that's fair. No, I just I don't know. I'm afraid of signing up for the internet meat grinder and failing.
And you're talking about the promotional stuff. I've had to learn to deal with that stuff, and I'm still horrible at it too. But it just takes consistency. And again, it's and where do you get that time, right? And it's like, I know.
Consistency
is
my
too.
least. It's my biggest weakness. It is so hard for me to be doing the same thing at the same time on a schedule, like,
unless it's detrimental, then we all do that every day at the same time, no matter what.
It's like promoting a Kickstarter. It makes me, like, I grit my teeth every day when I do a post about the Kickstarter while it's running. But I feel like if I'm really serious, then I should at least be doing something every day to promote that Kickstarter. But I find myself in positions where I want to be doing a drawing or something to have a reason to post, to mention the Kickstarter, because otherwise I just feel like I'm just banging pots and pans in the streets saying behind my book. And I don't like feeling like that guy, because that's never been me. And it's a very weird. So being the marketer is a very, very weird role to take when you're used to just being the artist. But it is a very important part of the job, especially nowadays.
I mean, who knows? Maybe a rich uncle I've never heard of will die, and I'll be able to,
He probably lives in Nigeria.
Hire somebody to do it.
He's a Nigerian prince.
I feel like if that's the case, then the money wouldn't actually arrive, right?
No, it probably not. Hugh, do you got any thoughts on that? I know you crank out work fast when you need to. Everyone always marvels how fast you can do stuff, but what are your thoughts? Do you consider yourself a comic book artist or just an illustrated artist? Because I know you do all kinds of fields.
I'm an illustrator that dabbles in comic books.
Okay.
Like, comic books is my love, but I could never. My focus was never just to. Comic books is the love, and it's always the love. But I've been independent since pretty much jump. And to survive as a illustrator, I had to be able to do everything, and so that's how come I can, pretty much flip styles and do a lot of different stuff, because I couldn't be locked down into any one kind of look or any one kind of feel or any kind of anything. I had to be versatile. So
and that is true. You can draw almost anything, any style. It always amazes me when I see you flip back from different pieces, because like even the drawings you're doing today compared to the first Chicken Devil cover you did for us, they're totally different, but they're each both amazing. Because that Chicken Devil cover that you did for us was more of that painted, gritty feel to it, right? So Actually, I got a copy of it right here.
It's a wicked cover. It's a wicked
This what it was our first cover. This and the Swamp Dogs both actually came out pretty much the same time, and they were both done by Hugh. So.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's like I don't try to force a style into every kind of thing. And this is just my own personal thing because I try to, you know, I mean, I'm not saying to anybody if they're doing that, that's wrong or something like that. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying is that for me, like, that's why I always ask people what the story is about. And I always want to know what the plot is and stuff. Because I just feel like different things, different concepts have like a different feel. So I try to put a different feel to what a feel to whatever it is I'm drawing, you know? And a different feel to whatever it is I'm trying. So like when I was doing like Department of Truth for say, I'm like, well, this is Department of Truth. This isn't superhero. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Department of Truth gave me a nice chance to show some of those other abilities that I have that people don't usually see me for, right?
Yep.
And so I did Department of Truth also, which was more of like a painterly style and stuff like that. And a lot of people didn't even realize it was me who did it.
Yeah,
Right?
I have. That's. I'll go grab my copy of that while you can keep talking. But there's another question here
a lot of people
that
didn't
Robin
realize
wants
that I
to
did.
know. Robin wants to know: is there an artist or an illustrator that any of you would be speechless meeting, dead or alive?
Stan Sakai. Want to meet him before I die.
Yeah, he's a very
Bucket
nice
list.
guy online. It seems like.
For me, I wish I could have met John Buscema. John Buscema. You know, and if I could have met Sal, that would be wicked too. But John Buscema, man, like he was my dude, man. I just love his work. He's just phenomenal to me. Like it's one of them God hands. But recently, I got to meet Ivan Reese.
Oh, cool.
In New York, and that guy's a monster, an absolute monster. Like his skills are just so ill. Like he's just somebody I would love to just go to his studio and just, yo, can I just sit down and watch you draw? You know, he's just one of the God hands, man. Like he's just that dude. He's just that dude for real. Watching him, but like, yeah, those are two for me.
What about you, Camillo? Is there somebody that you would meet that would leave you speechless?
Oh man, there's plenty. I think all the artists that I sort of grew up reading, like John Romita Jr.
For sure.
and Todd McFarlane, all those 90s boys. I think I'd freak out if I ever met them. Kevin Eastman's another one, but I was lucky enough to meet him. So yeah.
I got to meet Stan Lee when I was a kid. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
I got to meet him as well.
I never said a word to the man, but we have a family photo with Stan Lee.
That's cool.
We waited in line to meet him, and it was kind of funny because this was during the year when his wife convinced him to shave his mustache, so he looks a little bit unusual. And you know, we waited in line, and we're like 3 people from the end of the line, and suddenly my daughter, who was like, she would have been like 4 at the time, says she has to pee, right? So I have a baby strapped to my chest. I have a backpack and I have a 4-year-old, and I am running through the convention floor, and I get her to the bathroom, and I get her out of the bathroom, and I'm running back. And literally, like, we get there just as Zach is being walked in, and he waves us through. We run in. I like hoist the baby up, smile, and then we're ushered out again. Like, you can see the momentum. It's the wildest thing, but I wish I could have seen him for more than the time it took him to say, "Oh God, a baby."
That guy is one of the coolest dudes ever met.
Yeah.
Stan, like honestly, that guy's everything like you see on TV and stuff in his interviews, man. Just one of the nicest dudes, man. For real.
Rob Denner in the chat said he got to meet Bob Kane when he was 8 years old.
Rob,
that would have been
lucky little weasel.
Yeah.
Rob Denner.
Rob Dinner, you're a weasel man.
More than
Sorry.
Rob's got his fingers in everything. We got the World of
Rob's that
Wheels
dude,
coming
man.
up here in I think it's in March, and I was very surprised to hear they just announced the other day that they're bringing in Ric Flair.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean the guy is so old now and that, but I guess he still needs a few bucks. So.
He's got lots of wives to pay for, so
He does.
Might still be paying off the.
And he wasn't. I don't think he. Well, I know for a fact he wasn't good with saving money and stuff. He was just basically, spent it as soon as he got it. So that's another reason too. All right, gentlemen, and I'll say gentlemen's and lady, you got about 20 minutes left. So you guys,
20 minutes.
if you got anything left that
20
you want to
minutes so
spit
far.
out, go for it.
Hurry, scurry, hurry, scurry.
No, you don't have to get it done. But...
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I'll mention because I haven't mentioned it yet. All the artwork tonight will be auctioned off. Most likely Sunday or Monday morning. The auction will go up.
Monday.
There you go, Monday. I'm being told it's Monday.
Now that
All
you're
the
in
money
the
does
head.
go to the artists themselves, so feel free to bid away on that. Once you win, you'll be contacted, and the artist will reach out, or you reach out to us, and you guys can work out shipping and all that. But no matter what it is always great to get one of these packages in the mail. I know I've gotten not so much the larger pieces like this, but I've definitely gotten quite a few coasters from you guys, and I proudly display all the artwork as anywhere I can. So,
Not daddy, baby.
yeah.
Now it's in my head. Sunday, things just turned out that way.
See, it just sticks in your head, eh? Nah, nah,
Yep.
nah, nah, nah.
That's one of the themes we can have one night. Will be a karaoke night. You guys can only talk unless it's in song.
Musician night. That might be cool.
Yeah. Oh, Mike's doing a Fozzie as clown. That's pretty cool.
Fozzie violator.
Oh God, that's
Yeah.
distressing. Actually, kind of distressing. Not gonna lie.
What's going to be weird is he's going to transition from like fur to like the blue part of the face, which is just going to be like weird shiny blue meat.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very weird looking cover.
Interesting.
Fozzie can fight Peppy, man.
All right, so I think I'm almost at the point here where I'm going to go in with final ink lines and then apply the glow in the dark.
That's awesome.
Fun.
Whoever gets that piece is going to be very, very lucky. And again,
You might say it'll light up their whole day.
well, that'll be awesome. And I'm sure that piece will show up in probably the fourth or fifth volume if there's one of the things are getting sketchy and that. But unfortunately, it won't be in black and white, or it won't have the glow in the dark piece.
Yep. So only the original will glow in the dark.
That's cool.
That's true.
So before we kind of wrap things up, like I said, we still have about 20 minutes. Why doesn't everybody kind of go through where they can be reached? Because I know that is a question that everybody always gets asked afterwards. Where can I reach these fine artists? So, Mike, why don't you start off where these fine people can find and reach you?
Well, I'm called Uncouth Ruth online on Instagram and Twitter. That's probably the best place to reach me, or just my Facebook page, which is just my own like personal Facebook page. But you can find me there, and yeah, that's about it, really. My website is MikeRooth.com. I actually been trying to keep it updated. Haven't had a ton of work lately, so there's not been a whole lot to update lately. But yeah, I've got that kind of going, and I still have my shop, which is MikeRooth.BigCartel.com, where you can get t-shirts and original art and some Dodge pages and some cover art and things like that. I might be putting my Swamp Thing cover up for sale up there soon, so
Your
watch for that.
DC exclusive one?
Yeah, I might be
Oh,
putting the
man.
original up. Well, it's the thing about freelancing. I never really wanted to part with it, but I didn't think I was going to go 3 months without any work either. So it's
No, I know the feeling.
been doing the auctions and stuff lately. But there's some collectors who are interested, so I may put it out and see.
That's cool.
I was kind of hoping to get another gig at DC first, but reality is what it is, right? So we'll see how it goes. But I know there's some people interested in that one. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I'll be doing some auctions here and there, but I'm mostly kind of just in the cave right now, drawing Dodge all the time. So,
And when that's ready to go on Kickstarter, we'll make sure that everybody knows about that.
oh yeah, for sure, man.
Most definitely.
Hugh Tastic, why don't you give us the lowdown on yourself?
All right. Well, you can find me at Hugh Rookwood Art on Instagram or Chosen Studios, CHOZEN, on Instagram. Also, you can go to my website, www.chosenstudios, CHOZEN, studios.com. And you can check out my gallery and see stuff in there and contact me through there if you're looking for work done. And
Hugh
you can
has
just
lots
Facebook
and
me,
lots
Hugh
of
Rookwood.
prints.
Like Mike, I do auctions and stuff like that too, which is fun. It's time for a wrestling auction. It's been a minute. So it's time for the World Auction Federation to get back into the groove.
Mhm.
So watch out for that.
That's cool. Casey, why don't you hit us with all your deets?
Well, I am Casey Wilson Art on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. I've done my utmost to keep the same handle on all the socials, and I've been lucky so far. You can find me pretty much anywhere. The question is, have I remembered to post anything recently? That's your question.
Consistency, you gotta work on that. Yeah.
However, you are always welcome to message, and I love to reply to people.
That's true. I reached out to you, and you reached out pretty fast there last night. I was surprised. That was good.
Casey for president.
Can I say?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll do my best.
And the quiet one of the bunch this evening, Mr. Camillo. Throw us out your information.
Yeah, I got you can find me on Instagram at instacam_ILLO, or Facebook at Camillo Art. I've got a website as well, camilloart.com, and I just started a Patreon too. If anyone's interested, I've got monthly art teas or quarterly art teas, and then I got just the behind the scenes sort of things. You can see the comic book I'm working on and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, all my links are posted. I can't remember what all the websites exactly are, but my Facebook, you'll find the links to my Patreon website, my Facebook, and on my Instagram as well. Yeah.
And not only are you an awesome artist, you got a pretty cool accent too.
Very true.
Thanks.
It's been a delight listening to you.
Yeah. Yes, you guys are all been pretty awesome. I've enjoyed talking to all of you as well.
Yeah, it's been great having you on, man.
Yeah, I love
Appreciate
doing this stuff. When he asked me earlier this week, I said yes right away, but then I realized, oh, he doesn't mean just hosting. He means running all the technical stuff. Too.
Yeah. The whole shebang, yeah.
I hate that stuff. But yeah, we worked it out pretty good. So it took a few phone calls this week to get set up. And I must say, Stefan is a very, very, very patient man.
Oh my God.
Yes.
The patience of a mountain, that guy. He's unbelievable. He's had to talk me off the ledge so many times with computer stuff. You got no idea, man. He is. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's. Yeah.
So, yes, a shout out to our glorious regular host, because he's a pretty amazing guy for helping us all out.
Yes,
Absolutely.
most definitely.
Yeah, I don't think this one's turning out too bad.
No, Casey, I love that piece.
Yeah, that's looking crazy. looking
I'm
really
excited.
good.
Good.
Yeah, Casey, your piece is pretty awesome. It's, I mean, as silly as it is to say, it's lifelike looking for a Muppet. and same thing with Camillo's piece here too. I feel like it's, I almost feel like it's jumping out at me. It's very
I love the
action feeling.
The animal ghost looks like a ghost too. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, it's very. It has
Mhm.
that little bit of a transparency look to it.
Yeah, it's really good effect.
Yeah. The
And-
contrast is the key thing. It's so
yeah,
good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you guys, it amazes me what you guys can do with just normal things that us regular humans have, pencils and crayons and markers and that. But and Hugh, man, it always, Hugh stuff, it always blows me away because I know it's not easy, but you just make it look all so flawlessly. You just do it so fast and easy. It's amazing. It's almost like you're like a printer, one of those printers, just going down off the bottom.
Hopefully not dot matrix.
No, I was just saying not dot matrix, but it's pretty amazing to watch too. So. And Mike, I don't have to say much about your work, Mike, because it always speaks for itself. People love your work. It's
I
don't. It's amazing. I always I don't have a way to describe your style besides
It is the absence of a style, I think.
yeah, almost like that. It's just I just love it. So
I've never had any style in any capacity in my life.
that's right. So I have a quick question for you, Mike, because I know it is cold and winter and that. Are you actually wearing pants now, or are you still wearing shorts?
I will be honest. I have been wearing pants. I've been disappointed in my own masculinity lately because I have normally I'm wearing shorts until it's -10.
Yeah.
But yeah, this past couple of years I'm feeling the cold a lot more in these old bones. So I've been wearing pants like a civilized person in the wintertime. Yeah, I've been bundling up pretty good actually. I've been like a giant 8-year-old walking down the street, all bundled up for winter.
Like the kids from A Christmas Story in the park, all right?
That's it. That's me. I'm the little brother yelling in the snowsuit,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if it's, there we go. Now it's starting to get saturated enough. It's hard to tell with the glow pigment how pigmented it's going to be because the paint is semi-transparent to start with, like even more so than usual.
Oh yeah. Man, that glow in the dark stuff's fun. I remember years ago, one of my first jobs with Stefan for Aftershock. I was doing a baby teeth cover that was going to be glow in the dark, and the concept was, it's just a baby crawling in the grass. But then when you throw the lights off, the baby has like smoke coming out of its mouth and horns, and like all the dandelions in the grass are actually like skulls on spikes, and they kind of it just flips when you flip the lights off. And it would have been beautiful because at the time both Stefan and I were told that the material that they used to do the glow in the dark effect was completely transparent and had no color. And so it would basically just look like a picture of a baby, and then you flip the switch and then it's like this demonic, hell spawned thing. Well, we were so brutally disappointed when they printed the books because sure enough, the ink that they used for the for the glow in the dark was like this crazy loud neon green. So it was just like painted right over top of the artwork. So it glowed in the dark. It glowed in the dark and looked cool in the dark. But in the daylight, which is when most people were viewing the book, it was just a drawing of a baby smeared with what looked like neon green vomit. So it was a real. We were just so heartbroken because we worked hard on it and lined it all up and made it look perfect, and just one of those things that didn't come through. But yeah, because we were both told. We said that the only reason the idea worked to begin with was because we were told the glow-in-the-dark material was transparent and would not be visible. Right. And sure enough, it looked like literally like this bright green spawn color here that you're looking at, painted right over top everywhere. Like it was just a fucking nightmare.
How sad. Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, at least your lenticular cover for that was awesome.
Oh, they were awesome. They came out really like lined up perfect too. That was a lot of fun. I love doing those.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work to do. You have to essentially do 2 covers,
Basically,
but they came out really cool. I was really happy with them. Yeah.
Here, let's test it. Let's test it real quick. I gotta turn my lamp down. This is gonna blind us all for a moment.
okay,
Please
this is your
forgive me.
warning this time.
Yes, yes. So I gotta turn the
Oh
light
yeah, you got to charge it
directly
up,
on the
right?
page.
I can remember
Ooh,
doing
now
that
that
with
the light's
toys as a
reflecting on
kid.
it. Yeah, here, just a second. Where'd my brush go? I can see a spot that needs a touch. I set it down somewhere because I'm
It's
a
right in
very
front of
silly
you.
person.
It's right next to your thing.
Oh, that is a different brush, but it is still useful for this purpose.
Okay. You can be like one of those ladies in the old days that used to paint on the glow in the dark numbers in the watch factory, and they all died
Oh God, they were so tragic.
from radium poisoning.
Like the cancer that you get when your jaw is literally rot away. That
Yeah.
stuff of nightmares. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Well, hold on a second. I'm switching over to you. Okay,
Oh,
whenever you're
cool.
ready.
There you go.
Can you move it
Oh,
over just a
there's
little
some.
bit? Nope, the other way. There you go. Oh yeah, I can see it now. That does look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Whoever wins that is in for a pretty cool piece.
Spooky.
Gonna mute, dry it down, going with lines.
Yeah. I love Camillo's piece there. That's very awesome.
Ooh, I should sign it with glow in the dark.
Yes, you definitely have to do that.
Absolutely.
Here we go, right in the corner. The glowy bit. Thank goodness I'm only doing my initials because this stuff is a pain to work with.
Yeah, some of those things can be tough. Like I find working with masking fluid really, really tough. It doesn't want to respond on the brush the same way, and it's just a very claggy material to work with. You got to work.
Well, it
quickly.
ages unpredictably too.
Yeah,
you know?
it does. Yeah.
Like I have a jar of masking fluid that was working for me perfectly, but now suddenly it's pulling up paint every time I use it. And I'm like, how did that happen? What did I do? I made the poor thing angry somehow.
Yeah, sometimes the tape just wants to be your friend, and sometimes the tape hates you. It's just a hateful son of a bitch that's like, no, I'm going to tear the paper today. I don't care about you, Mr. Rooth. I don't care about your time, your effort. I don't care that you're sending this to someone who wants to put it in a frame, and now there's going to be this torn, rough patch going around the edge where you had the tape because the tape decided to be a jerk today. The tape doesn't care. The tape doesn't have any feelings, man.
And on that note, unless anything or anybody has anything left to say, we will sign out on this wonderful evening. Thank you all for joining us tonight.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, honored to be
Wonderful to
asked
see
to
you
host,
all.
and hopefully be able to do it again. Stefan was very well missed tonight, but I'm sure we will all hear about how bad and he'll give us some criticisms about it later on. So.
Oh, he deserves a break, and you did a fine job, man. You did an absolutely fine job. In fact, I don't think we lost connection with anybody. We didn't have any audio problems. I mean, this could be the thing. This could be the fact that the day we all learned that it's actually sleeping.
I think what the major change we hear was the American to Canadian ratio was finally in the Canadian side this time. So we had 3 Canadians to 1 American. And I'm also going to count the Australian as part of a Canadian because it's Commonwealth related. So that's 4. All right, everybody. I'm glad you came out. Thanks, everybody who participated tonight in the chat. You're all awesome. Artists are even more awesome. Hope to see you all soon.
All right,
Thanks,
everybody
guys.
have a wonderful night.
Take care, people.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again.
Be good.